Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Speedruns From the Crypt. It is your bi-weekly horror hotfix. I am McDisis, and I'm going to bring you a fun set of games today. Today as well, we have an especially interesting one because as the GDQ Hotfix shows move around, sometimes shows get moved with other shows. And now we're going to be working with Aimbot. Aimbot was the show prior to us, and it is a show focused on a lot of shooters, FPS, and the like. So I thought since we have the new time slot there, it'd be fun to kind of partner up with that. Which is, I guess, kind of ironic considering our first game, but today is going to be a bunch of horror games focused primarily on shooting. But to add a little bit of irony, we're going to be opening up with a very unique category of Dino Crisis. I'll have a runner explain that a little bit more, but here is Dino Crisis No Weapon with Punchy. Take it away.
Hey everyone, I'm Punchy, this is Dino Crisis. I'm going to start the run real quick because this is one of those runs that starts with like a minute cutscene so we can explain as we proceed. We'll be playing on normal mode, I do not want the infinite grenade launcher, and I'm going to pick the ancient type for the fun of it. Alright, so this is Dino Crisis No Weapon. It's essentially the sort of partner category to like how Resident Evil games normally have knife only. But this game has no knife, so it's just no weapon instead. What if you beat game, but fire no gun ever? So that's what we will be doing.
I've just noticed that when you pick the game from an outfit,
Regina's handgun becomes a bone.
Oh, it does.
I didn't know that. I've never tried to do this before.
Also, put a note I forgot to say all right, so I apologize for that. Every time I open the show, I say all right.
Leave the cards to me.
Alrighty then. Don't want to throw in a one there. But yes, that's Bone.
Did you hear what he just called me?
Forget about it.
I've
Just
actually,
let Gale handle this.
I'm very like matter of fact when I run this normally. I just pick the basic costume by default. But I thought, you know what, let's pick one of the different ones for once. Let's be fun with it. Pick the ones I don't think these have any effect on gameplay. I hope not, because if they do, I'm about to find out in a really unfortunate fashion.
No, on PC it's allowed. On console, it's actually not. Weirdly enough.
I'll infiltrate the facility and occupy.
Yeah, because PC gives you them by default, while console you can only have them on New Game Plus files. It's weird. I remember I tried submitting a Bone costume for a no weapon category, and they told me, no, you're not allowed to do that. Because I was on PS1, but I think on PC port, right?
I see. Yeah, PC port is just unlocked by default.
Also, it was mentioned in chat that there's, I guess, a sweet irony that Punchy is doing a no weapon run.
The brass is still warm.
No punches, no kicks. No guns,
were shooting at
no
very
weapons,
recently.
nothing.
So who are they fighting?
Oh yeah, we're also playing the Japanese version. You might be able to tell from like the subtitles. Japanese is faster for all the usual suite of reasons that Japanese is faster for these games, text speed. But there's also one very special trivial reason that we'll get to like halfway through the run. There's like one actual gameplay difference. It's very, very minor, but it makes me giggle.
What happened here? Continue to sweep the area.
Look forward to it. Alright, so first order of business, we gotta get a key. This game has a one-button quick turn, which is very convenient for movement. Immediately trigger another cutscene. This game is one of those ones that kind of has a bit of a slow roll of an opener, to be blunt.
How's the
It makes
progress going with
resets
that
very
security
entertaining.
system?
I don't know what's been going on here, but it looks like all the power...
But, you know, we're establishing that, you know, we're coming to this
Same
facility,
here.
all the power's gone, trying to build atmosphere and what have you. I'm playing this on the PC port. We established this. That's why it probably looks nice and smoother than you remember it being. The PC version has like nicer graphics options and runs at a higher resolution and stuff.
What are you doing here?
I caught the last part of your conversation.
By the way, I found a key.
Hand it over. Let's head outside.
And sadly, none of the cutscenes in this game are skippable, but fortunately for you guys, you will get 100% of the relevant story context. You get to understand the deep lore of Dino Crisis. Say the line, Regina.
That's disgusting.
Yay!
This guy's been eviscerated. Something tore his intestines straight out.
Look at those tooth marks. It had to be some sort of animal.
Okay, let's move on.
The dinos are in crisis. I feel like that's the law. It's more like there's a crisis, but also there's dinosaurs. Like the fact that the dinos and the crisis are actually sort of unrelated entities. All right, do a puzzle. We have to line up the colored batteries in the generator. Do their alignments with switches on the wall. Simply memorize the inputs, for it is a fixed puzzle with a fixed solution. Game loves this puzzle type. It comes up a few times.
Gale?
Oh dear, Gale has been attacked. I wonder what it could be. Still makes the clicking noise.
Well, bones click sometimes, man.
It's amusing me.
I think it affects all guns too.
Ah, it's making me sad that this is no weapon then. I'd love to see what the grenade launcher looked like with this skin. I've never tried to do an any percent run in this like costume before.
What is this?
Alright, so this is first dinosaur. Goodbye. This is no weapon, so I am leaving. In any percent, we would actually attempt to defeat this dinosaur, but this is no weapon, so we cannot use weapon. But the reason any percent that you would defeat them is that this cutscene takes place where they chase you through rooms, which means it's actually faster to just win the first fight against it. But it is more consistent to run away. This is like, no weapon has a consistency advantage here because the number of shots it takes to down any given dinosaur is not consistent, like, at all. The range is huge. Like, anywhere from, like, 2 to 7.
Good news. I got the control system back online. What's the situation over there?
It's Gale. I lost him.
So what's the bad news? Did you run into some guards?
You're not gonna believe this. He was attacked by some kind of dinosaur.
That's a good one. So,
Oh,
I do actually very much like the cutscene delivery in this game.
This isn't a joke, you idiot. We were just attacked by a big-ass lizard.
for real, what's going on over there? All right, head over to the control
Probably
room
good that I
and
like it
sort
as
out
well,
this
because again,
whole
you can't skip any of
situation.
it. Considering PS1 survival horror games have like a reputation for having really, really bad voice acting, I think Dino Crisis actually stands out as having really quite good voice acting. Much better than most games of the time. And it's probably good that it does, because boy, you gotta get used to it when you run this game. You can head up into the vents, which lets us get around the laser fields. You're heading to the control room.
On that note as well, I know a lot of people also mention, I guess, going just tangent with horror games, that for best voice acting, people usually bring up Kudelka.
That game has really good cutscenes. Really, really good cutscenes.
I think
What's our
theater
status?
actors, actually.
Yeah, they got
Yes.
everyone together and like got them on an actual like sound stage and had them act out the scene, so it all sounds like they're in the same room because they are.
Yeah, as all
Really
as
good.
the opposite of the Resident Evil, they
Yeah.
found some Canadian
I couldn't
citizens in
believe it.
Japan and just picked them
I
up off
just
the
hope he's
street.
still alive.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
our first priority is to complete the mission.
Okay, so there's a Japanese TV show I watch where one of the cameraman who works on it also worked on Resident Evil, and he said
That's a
that they
great
just
idea,
hired
but
the
Cooper
first
has a
foreigners who
radio,
walked into
and
the
he's
office
missing.
that day. And it would be a real pain for me to source that quote.
Hey, what's with this monitor?
It's pretty
the
commonly
security
mentioned.
monitor for the
I have no idea
underground
the sources, but like
The
I know it
cameras
gets talked about
off
like everywhere.
So I take it that means power still hasn't been restored to the area.
Exactly.
They must have that area wired to a different power system than the ground level.
We can investigate that area after we finished our sweep of the ground level.
Okay.
I guess I have to wonder, did Dino Crisis get like actual voice actors, or did they just find better randoms off the street?
I don't know, actually. I've never bothered to investigate that.
It's still Capcom.
True, yeah, it's the same people.
Now, what I
They stepped up their
know
game.
is where those things are coming from.
Alright, so current goal, re-establish power to the basement level. And also look around the place.
Apparently,
Gonna pop into
Regina
the
was,
safe room?
apparently Regina is Sailor Venus, so apparently they did amp it up a bit.
Ah, yeah. That's a bit more like of a pedigree than just hiring the first English speaker who shows up to audition. Solve a puzzle. Normally we can't find the solution for this until a lot later, but Dino Crisis is a game that is okay with you like sequence breaking in that regard. It prompts us to save automatically when we leave safe rooms. There's no like limited saving like in Resident Evil. But we're going to decline every save opportunity, which would normally be risky because, you know, like dying means you lose, but Dino Crisis gives you 30 continues. It's weird that it's a limited amount, but also 30 is a huge number.
Hey girl, just get going.
There's a dinosaur there, don't mind him. We'll call him Jim. Jim tries to break into this room, but as long as the door remains inside of camera view, he will not break through. Okay, no, don't press it twice. Okay, so when Jim makes that noise where he goes like, and he like, the back rears up, it means they're gearing up to try and hit you with their tail. And that's very bad, because not only does that cause a hard knockdown, it also actually flips your facing direction, which is very inconvenient. You want to watch out for that. You have to learn the tells of the dinosaur attacks. Or dodging and such.
You know, thinking about the 30 continue limit, it's probably likely that maybe you just, whoever playtested just died that many times with the T-Rex.
True. It's like one of the only things that instantly kills you.
Yeah, because then you have like 2 moments you have to deal with them.
I think it's less continues if you play on hard mode, but I'm playing on normal and it's still like 30. It's huge. It's massively forgiving.
And then they have the resuscitations too.
Yeah.
The only thing is I know speedrun rules, they don't let you die for the leaderboard at least.
Yeah, it rolls the IGT back. It's one of those. But for the purpose of like, you know, doing a hotfix, doing a marathon run.
Yeah.
It's fine. All right, so this is the DDK system. They're puzzles where they give you like a key, and you have to decode the letter from the hints provided, but the solution is fixed, so I simply just memorize them all.
You know, it's really weird. The Japanese version and the NA version have different number of puzzles, but the words are the same. Because that one was head, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, for the safe combo, I know on the North American PS1 version, it's like 0426.
What's he plotting now?
Yeah, it's different.
What are you
It's such a weird difference to just make the numbers different, but the words are the exact same.
Take this.
What's this for?
I don't know. Told me extremely vital.
That guy dies, but he gives us a key card. Yeah, unlocking funny metal case back here with 2 other panel keys we've got. This game has many keys to go in many different kinds of door. Yeah, let's take 1 step back. Ooh! Surprise!
Wait a minute. Okay, I'm actually more confused.
Oh, you got it.
So,
I took 1 step back, I crossed the trigger.
The first number was different, but that number was the exact same.
Wait a moment. Go. No, I got bumped. Okay, I'm out. It's fine. That getting head bumped actually does do damage, funny enough. But that is not the ideal set. Don't sleep in front of the door. That is a random element. You'd prefer the dinosaur to not be napping in front of the door you're trying to leave out of?
I've unlock the shutters near the end.
Yeah, since this is a classic survival horror speedrun, we spend most of our time evading enemies, but especially so in no weapons, since shooting is, de facto not an option.
It should be somewhere near the front of the training room. So, check there first.
Second DDK puzzle. Solution is newcomer, although I want to point out that these keyboards that they make you input the puzzle on are very cursed because they're alphabetical order rather than QWERTY. You don't realize how cursed something like that is until you have to, input something and all your muscle memory is wrong. And, I've been running Silent Hill Shattered Memories lately, and that game actually does do, a puzzle with a QWERTY keyboard, so I keep, brain farting on it. Alright, will I get through smoothly, or will I get blocked? Ah, he's gonna be standing there. Okay, we got through eventually. That can go wrong if the dude, hard blocks you at the door, in the hallway, rather, and doesn't let you pass. But we got through eventually. Oh yeah, here's the first instance of QTE, but this is before they invented QTEs, so they're just danger, and the correct button is every button. All of them at the same time. Press as many buttons as you possibly can.
Gale, you're still alive. Good timing.
You don't die if you fail them, but you do take damage.
What is it?
And you only have so much health.
That's no lizard. It's a dinosaur.
Dinosaur?
Look,
Dinosaur?
something's really wrong with this place.
There's dinosaurs in this
mission's
game?
gone sour.
Damn.
Hey, it's always eat or be eaten out in the battlefield, no matter who or what you're up against. Any word on the dock yet? I've got to hook up with Rick again. My radio's dead, and he's the only one who can fix it.
Okay, so now we have the key to the basement generator, so we have to go back outside. Please do not bite me. Thank you. Gonna cut through here. We'll unlock this room from this side for later usage. A little shortcut. There's a random element here. Okay, didn't happen. An event can happen in that hallway on either the first time you pass through it or the second time you pass through it. It will happen at least once, though, so the main thing it's good for is making fake gold splits. Collect the spare battery. Yeah, this is one of the things that Japanese is faster on. It's just text scrolls like this. Generic reason for Japanese to be the faster version of the two, even though difficulty-wise, I'm pretty sure there's, no meaningful differences between the two.
The only thing I can tell is just some puzzle answers are random, are different. But only some. Not all, just, the one.
Are the battery colors different? I wouldn't
Nope,
I wouldn't
it's
have thought
always
so.
red, blue, green, white. And, this one, or the first one was, first one was 2, 3, 2, then the second one was, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or something,
That you,
right?
Regina?
Yeah? So, do we have power yet?
We're in the green, thanks to you. Look, I need you to come back.
Is this Resident Park or
There's
Jurassic
something I
Evil,
have to
says
talk
Chart.
to you about.
Says Chart? Chart. Chat. My answer? Yes. This does come from, the same developers as Resident Evil. I actually forget that this, some people don't know that.
Which, yeah, pretty much Chad hit the nail on the head. Back in the 90s, Jurassic Park took the world by storm. Dinosaurs were cool. They had the assets, so why not make a, dinosaur horror game? And it did, first one did decently well.
It did well enough to get a sequel. There's the event that happens the second time you pass through this dinosaur.
By the way,
Crashes in through the window and maims you.
Praise Regina's, skeleton for being able to, just get racked all around.
Yeah, no, you take no damage from that. It's oh man, that looks like it hurts until you throw it off. No, if you pass the quick time event where he kicks the dinosaur off, nothing happens. You take no damage.
Which also, I guess, going back into Dino Crisis releases, yes, this game has franchise had nothing since 2003.
Yeah, no, this is currently a dead franchise. Although I know lots of people want it to be remade.
What's the emergency?
Every time I stream this game, that's like the main topic of conversation in the chat. It's like, oh man, this
Don't
game
stream
deserves
this
a
game and
remake.
people tell me they want it to be remade.
It flashed by pretty quick.
And then they made Exoprimal and they put Regina in it.
Open the shutter to the underground area.
That was kind of cruel, though. Like, you got to admit.
What is
Oh,
it?
you know a fun fact about that?
It's a distress
Oh,
signal
yeah?
from one of our team
The
members.
character that
It
looks
must
like
be
Regina, her name is Majesty.
Yeah. Or
Right?
it might be Tom.
Queen.
He infiltrated
Yes,
the facility causing one of the research-
Regina, Majesty,
Pinpoint the signal.
yeah, it's I guess
It's
Latin
coming from
roots.
outside of the building.
It's a weird like
To the
tangent, and
east
it's
of the
so
rear
specific.
entrance we
Like,
came in from.
no Dino Crisis, we're not doing it.
So mean.
And then even worse, back when Dead Rising was existing, Capcom and Vancouver wanted to do a Dino Crisis remake, and they said
What
they
are
were
you
told no.
talking about? He's asking for.
I didn't know
our
that. I
help.
haven't
Leave
played
our own
Exoprimal.
behind?
And what if it's
I
a
only know
trap?
that because of the trailer going
Would you
around
want
when
one of us to come
they
and
had
rescue
it.
you?
Don't
I heard it was
bother.
fun, but not a lot of people
Willing to take this.
hopped on it.
Remember our mission. We're not.
I'm
here
just
to
not much of a
babysit.
multiplayer game guy, you know?
Yeah.
Nothing against it.
And
Exactly.
then the only recent thing is I know I think one of the early devs of this game mentioned that people ask really hard, maybe they'll do something, but that was
You
6
have
years
no
ago. So
access to the underground, Gale. So get moving.
yeah.
You handle your things
Unfortunate.
your way. I'll handle my things my way.
I tell you, there's four Dino Crisis games. There's also Dino Stalker.
Get on my nerves,
I like that game.
Regina.
They hurt my
heading out
hands.
to investigate the underground.
It's awkward.
What?
Yeah, playing that game, something with the shooting is just like killer on the hands. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. So, like, I have experience because I've played all the other Gun Survivor games first. It kind of plays similarly. Right, that was a dialogue choice. This game has like multiple different like branching paths, almost as it were, where you pick between either Gale's suggestion or Rick's suggestion at various intervals. It is almost always faster to pick Gale's options because he is like more direct. Whereas Rick's options tend to be sort of brainier, but more circuitous. And we are stupid speedrunner. We want to go fast. Cavewoman smash. Collect spare medkits from the medical room so that I have... Don't save the game, so that I have health to work with. It's very difficult to get through this run without taking, like, some amount of damage, so picking up health kits makes the run a lot less risky. It's pretty trivial to grab a couple from that cabinet.
Hey, wait!
Also,
That's Dr.
since it's coming up in chat right now, a lot of people may be wondering, if because you know, if you look at the speedrun leaderboard, normally you might see a time that's much lower than the estimate. This game, time-wise, is based on
What's going on?
IGT, and that is like a good, 25-minute split.
I lost him, but he's definitely
Yeah.
in the lab area.
So, like, the end time we're probably gonna get to be a lot closer, probably like, I don't
I
know,
can see an
like,
elevator from here.
probably
Maybe I can use that to go
116-ish,
down from the first
115-ish,
floor.
117-ish. Somewhere in that ball. Pretty much like the one, like, 15 to 120-ish. Meanwhile, the real time could be closer to 140.
Yeah, because it's all the door screens. They don't count for IGT, but obviously they consume real time. Gotta see these animations of Regina walking upstairs. You know, very nice animations to their credit, but animations nonetheless. There is, like, a door skip mod for this game that exists and is legal to run with if you do not like the idea of sitting through the door loads. I didn't have it installed when Igdisis asked me to do this, and I didn't feel like fiddling with it because the last time I tried, I did something wrong and I broke my install.
I'm not gonna lie as well, the cutscenes are pretty charming.
It doesn't skip the cutscenes, just the doors.
Oh. The doors are charming.
Also, the door skip mod is like really, like, it would like smash cut. I actually find it really disorienting to play with. Like, if I was seriously going for PB attempts, I still wouldn't use it. The convenience for
is.
marathons
It is all
and
good.
little else. I didn't install it. Worried about doing it wrong. I did it wrong once before, and it made my life very difficult. Anyway, from that room we unlocked with an ID card, we picked up a fingerprint scanner. This is a puzzle item that we can use to scan bodies around the facility to get their fingerprints, which can be used in various places to solve other puzzles. This is one of like the sort of ongoing puzzle elements of Dino Crisis. It's like a major puzzle mechanic is the fact that the corpses in the environment are not just like decorative, they're puzzle objects. You have to find the right person as you go through the game to get their fingerprint. Use it to rewrite your ID card at various intervals to gain new permissions. unlock more doors and such. Because like normally you find out that that body's the correct one by sending a pager message, and you have to find the body with the beeping one. But if you know which one's right, you can just do it straight away. But it's a cool puzzle. It uses the environment well. Really singing the praises of Dino Crisis this stream.
I mean, to its credit, the first one wasn't exactly a bad game. It just kind of, you know, never went anywhere beyond 2003.
And
Yeah, I mean, I like Dino Crisis well enough.
I was too late.
And then I'm pretty sure this
I
game's
feel like I'm
also,
coming off as very positive right now.
Yeah, I mean,
you did
it
what
is a
you could.
positive game.
Dino Crisis, yay!
I'm back in the control room right now.
I know as well, horror-wise, I think this game's one of the first ones to really allow enemies to actually move through doors.
Yeah, it is a dynamic thing as well. It comes up in the run a few times. It's also a random thing, which is not good to do. Those guys are sleeping on the job. All right, see you guys later. Dino positions and spawns and behavior are very, very, very random. This run has rakes of randomness.
Also,
I've not been commenting on a lot of it because it's been sort of not nature.
I love this pterodactyl here because he's really going to enforce the speedrun category.
Yep. Yeah, this is the most important enemy in the run. No, my bone! Yeah, so that enemy makes you drop your weapon, but this is no weapon. I don't need weapon. It's gone. Goodbye.
He's the speedrun moderator.
Now we shall simply go without. The rules have now been enforced. I am weaponless and sad. Ow, my face. That can happen. That's random. Whether or not you get bopped by that guy trying to move through. It is okay. Okay, solve the pipe puzzle. The order is RGB lighting. Red, green, blue, red, green, blue. Albeit you get the symbols for red, green, blue in Japanese instead. Like in the console, the order they are in is green, red, blue. Now, RGB sewer system must install. What is this? It's a generator. We are once again restoring this. Like, you spend a lot of this game restoring power to places. Give me that card. I require it. Bonk yet again. The speedrun moderator has returned.
Well, let's just know that one, that's not a weapon.
No weapon, doesn't count.
And more importantly, two, that's not a dinosaur.
It's not?
No, I learned pterodactyls are not dinosaurs. They're like birds or something, but I just know they're not dinosaurs.
Well, dinosaurs are like old birds, right?
They're a different type of bird that's not a dinosaur. I don't know what they are, but they're not a dinosaur. I know that much.
No, okay, but if they're like, if we're talking about like old birds, and like, surely it's like the image of a dinosaur, right?
No. They're very much in a different family tree. They're not dinosaurs. They don't count. You can
Well,
hurt
what
them.
nerd like is saying this anyway?
You know Kyo, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the nerd who's
For
saying.
reference, he's very expert in the thing of dinosaurs for the general GDQ audience.
I don't know nothing about dinosaurs.
Oh, here we go. It's a pterosaur. Which, I don't know what that means, but I know someone explained to me the other day as well. I just know it's not a dinosaur.
I don't believe this personally. I'm choosing to just ignore this knowledge flat out. The dinosaur to me. Right, control the crane. Cranes in this facility are controlled via this very odd card game. Left, up, release, down, hook. Where you can only move a given amount in each direction by playing the cards in a row. And we would like to clear a path from one room to the other, but fortunately we don't have to place down a box that's been picked up, so we just need to move one and have that one hang in the air. We can simply run under, and the next time we come back to this room, it will be solved again, but in like a different, more correct arrangement that the game prefers. It like fixes the room to the arrangement that you're supposed to do it in when you come back through the second time. It's go, this is how you were meant to do it, stupid. Terrible puzzle solution. Do it properly next time. Where's the guy? He's nowhere to worry about. Okay, but he aggroed before I walked in this room, so it's very likely that when I get to this camera transition... Yep, that noise and music change signifies that a dinosaur broke into the room behind me. But in that room, the camera chooses not to focus on it. But for that one, it doesn't actually matter. And all of that was for the purpose of gaining the elevator card so we can get down the other side of a shutter. Oops, more dinosaur. Password to the laboratory is laboratory. Which is a bit like having your password be password, but sure, we'll go with it.
I mean, at least he didn't make his password his name.
Ooh. Money dodge. Works though. Door's unlocked. We head out. This counts as a save room. So we have to decline the save prompt when we leave it every single time. Okay, now I'm going to ask chat to keep a secret because I'm about to commit a crime.
It's not a weapon.
It's not a weapon, technically. So there's this guy trapped in this room filled with gas. Our goal is to, deplete the gas so that he gets through unharmed. However, I seem to have accidentally failed the puzzle and killed him instead. How unfortunate. Please don't tell anyone about this. I might go to jail.
It's faster because Regina has social anxiety and doesn't want to have a conversation, so she kills him.
But yeah, if that guy lives, he talks for, like, quite a bit, so it's faster to just have him die in the room. He gets killed anyway in a cutscene, even if you do successfully complete the puzzle properly, so it doesn't actually have any long-lasting impact, but it kind of feels like it should. Like, of all the weird things that speedrunners do to speed up their games, that's one of the ones where every time I do it, it always, like, draws comments about, like, wait, what did you just do? Like, dude, that's kind of messed up. But yeah, no, it kind of is. I don't disagree. Anyway, moving on from that, let's solve a puzzle. We like puzzles, right? Quick, change the subject, change the subject. We have to match the figure on the bottom. We do this with 3 moves. Color to top, blank to top, and then mix to top. It was a misinput. We have now gained the 2 key cards we need to access Kirk's secret lab because we're trying to chase down Dr. Kirk. We will spend a lot of time listening to Dr. Kirk later. But I have not dwelled on this. Why were they both sleeping on top of each other? This is the run of the sleepy dinos. So far, they have all just been, like, sleeping in piles near doors. Koku de wa tsukaimasen! Too far.
Regina?
I finally made it to the entrance of the doctor's lab.
Good work.
Speedrunning horror
The door
games
looks like
is
it
really
needs
good for
2
language
people
learning
working
because you will
together
learn
to
every
unlock it.
single variant of the phrase "you can't use this here" in your target language.
So, what's our status?
Here, take this.
Ready? Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I can't type, send help. There we go. Energy. We've made it to Kirk's secret lab. In the middle of his lab, a Sony Vegas video effect is playing. Cool distortion. And then it's gone. Kirk is not here. He has left.
He's not here.
Why? This operation is taking
I
way
like
too
the
long
delivery on that
already.
one where you go, where it's just like, Kirk's not here, and Gail just runs, why?
Activated. Emergency lockdown in progress.
You know, I'm just noticing it. Her shoes are leopard print.
Oh, Kirk must have tripped off the security system. That fool.
Her shoes are leopard. I mean, her like outfit's leopard print, isn't it?
Right, but like, she has like wristbands, but
Trapped
like
inside here.
her shoes are like
Must have
entirely
turned it
leopard
off.
print.
We didn't touch anything.
Can you clear it?
I'll see what I can do.
What's wrong with this thing?
Cool it, Gale. We'll find a way out somehow.
Okay, pilfer a nearby screwdriver. Koku de wa tsukaimasen. Slightly too far to the right, I think. Here's a new kind of puzzle. Rotate the pipe so that they fit the example, that they overlay on top of each other. It was very puzzle heavy relative to a lot of Resident Evil games. Very.
Bypassed. You have 10 minutes.
Okay.
Even more so on the Rick route.
Yeah, even
We'd
more
better
so.
get moving.
Why we mostly stray away from his path.
And we're on our way out.
That's great.
I don't want to
The
think.
entire underground area is crawling with dinosaurs. You'll never be able to make it through there.
Don't sweat it. I'll take them all out one by one if I have to.
Brilliant plan, fearless leader, but I have a better one. These readouts tell me there's an emergency escape hatch in the dock's private quarters. You should be able to make a clean break through there.
Are you sure?
Yeah, but there's one problem. The hatch is password locked through the mother system.
Forget it. If you can't crack the code before the dinosaurs rush in, we'll be completely trapped.
I know. You just have to trust me.
I don't.
What happens if you wait there for 10 minutes? I don't know. I suspect nothing.
Make your choice.
Okay, once again, another choice where we're just going to pick Gale's path because Gale's path is just run through all the dinosaurs, which is what we've already been doing. Despite the fact Rick's plan sounds like a shortcut, it is not. At all. But what's the spawn position? That's kind. That's not. Oh, I still got through. It was very tight. There's a guy here. Ow. Oh, that's unfortunate. No! No, 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 no. That, unfortunately, is one of the worst pieces of luck that can take place, is getting grabbed by that attack in particular, because that inflicts bleeding. Bleeding is a boring status effect that kills you. You have to cure it immediately, or you just die. And you only start with one hemostat in the game, and there's a few things that can do that to you randomly. I mean, there's not one you start with one. There's like others, but I don't know where they are. Basically, it's like poison from Resident Evil. Like, it's pretty much the same thing. It's boring in that game, and I don't know, I hate it.
Gale!
You're a lucky guy, Doc.
So this must be the elusive Dr. Kirk.
It never goes away on its own
Gave
either.
us quite a run for our
You
money.
just bleed out
You get
forever.
around, don't you? Just like a rat. And you got this whole island set up as your little maze.
Yeah, I'm playing this on the PC port, and there is sadly no way to get this on like digital distribution or anything. I have the physical copy sitting somewhere back there.
I'm surprised they sent someone after me.
I think it should be with my copy of Dino Crisis 2 as well, but unlike Dino Crisis 1's PC port actually like works, Dino Crisis 2's
More than
PC
happy
port
to oblige. So what?
not so much.
Genius.
Relax, Agent. My study is nearing its final stages. Magnificent.
Hey, this is Dr. Kirk.
But I can't leave before I've analyzed the final results.
I don't give spit about your results. I'm taking you back under orders, so shut up and follow me. Regina, locate the communication facility and call in the extraction chopper.
You can't do this. I have rights.
According to command, you're
I have rights!
pal. I suggest you take it up with them.
No, they can't do this to me. They deserted me 3 years ago and now they want me back? This is preposterous.
Shut up.
Then shoot me, idiot. You lame, flat-top, jaw-headed.
Shut up. Where's the communication room?
Take the elevator up from the control room.
I need a card to access that elevator. I know you've got one. Hand it over, Doc.
Fine.
So, we're all set then. I'll meet you at the heliport.
Hey, wait, where are you going?
I have a little unfinished business to take care of. I'll drop this guy off with Rick. Now get moving.
Unfinished business?
We will never find out what the unfinished business is. Doesn't come up on the speedrun. Alright, so now our goal is to head to the rooftop and send a distress signal. So we're going to backtrack to the control room. Fastest way to do that is via a little shortcut that we open there that lets us cut back through the generator room. Where's this guy gonna spawn? Where are you gonna be? There he is. That's simple enough. It will stay unfinished. The unfinished business will stay unfinished. You want to know? You're gonna play the game yourselves. No spoilers on this stream. Couldn't possibly spoil people on this game. Not right when they're about to start remaking it, obviously. The remake that we all know is being made. Is it okay to, like, taunt chat like this? Am I allowed to do that on Hotfix streams?
Maybe.
Maybe. Confident.
Well, I think there's a difference between ragging on the game itself and ragging on the idea that you're not getting a remake.
It's I don't think it's happening, no.
I mean, all right. The example I use is I mentioned recently the other day, but I really watched the show a lot, King of the Hill. And one of the major plot points is that Hank Hill's dad has a son, and he says, "I always wanted a son called Hank, so I'm gonna name him Good Hank." Meaning, Capcom had a game they called Good Dino Crisis. Like, I feel like when they're making a whole new thing that's exactly you and not you, they don't want anything to do with the old one. Which, I like Dino Crisis, but, like, it's hard to... Yeah.
Brutal, but I get it.
Yeah,
King of the Hill was popular in the UK as well.
Yeah.
Just the way you said it is sort of like you were hedging your bets on whether or not I knew what I...
People in chat, maybe some of them don't watch it, don't know it.
True. But just for reference, it was actually quite popular in the UK as well.
But it's also about the obscure plot point.
I'm a bit busy right now.
I know it's the
Do
most
something
American TV show ever, but somehow it was popular in the UK as well.
Also, probably one of the most tense parts of the speedrun. We're talking about good hanking.
Oh yeah, we're being
back to the-
chased
back to
by a
the-
T-Rex. I can die instantly if I do this wrong, so I should probably actually be paying attention to the video game. I must dodge Dino. In the box. Health pack.
It's open. You're all clear.
Whether or not you
you
get a
get-
health
you
pack
get-
there is not a given, so I took the opportunity to pick it up for safety. Yeah, dodge the dino, dodge the attack successfully. If you mess them up, you can get instantly killed if it hits, like, dead center. If you get lightly tapped on, like, sort of the outer bit of the dinosaur's head, you get bumped instead and you take damage.
Scrub the initial
But if he
plans,
hits you, like,
pick
dead
us up at
center,
the
you die
heliport.
immediately.
This entire
So if you
island's
time your
blood.
dodges wrong and the timing
only
is not
survivor
consistent,
not
it
on the
varies
team.
slightly, so you actually do have to look.
I'll give you the details later. Just get back here and pick us up ASAP.
But yes, for the long and short of Dino Crisis, the most recent news anyone's heard that isn't exoprimal is I think one of the
what's your
devs said if people ask
The chopper's on
really
its way
hard,
here.
maybe, but that happened 6
Don't
years
waste
ago.
any
So
time. And remember, use the main entrance to get to the heliport.
we'll see what happens, I guess.
I think Code Veronica remake is more likely than Dino Crisis at this point.
I think a Beautiful Joe re-release is more likely than Dino Crisis point.
This is one of those things that's either going to age great or age poorly. Anyway,
Hey,
we're trying to escape
Joe,
now.
I'm saying right now. I already called Gex coming back. I'm calling it. Beautiful Joe is gonna return and Henshin a Go-Go, baby.
Now, see, I would put Dino Crisis ahead of Beautiful Joe in terms
Oh,
of
me
what gets
too,
a
but
re-release.
there's a thing, there's not good Beautiful Joe in existence. It's just Beautiful Joe.
True. True. Is it true? I'm thinking about this.
To my knowledge, they have not made a game exactly like Beautiful Joe, not called Beautiful
No, I
Joe.
suppose they
anytime
haven't, have
recently.
they?
It's like a really weird fact about Beautiful Joe, which is, if you ever watch the show American Dad, the fish voices Beautiful Joe.
Oh,
And you'll never
okay, I
unhear
didn't know
it.
that.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, not bad at all. I like the actor. It's like, you don't think about the talking fish from American Dad voicing Beautiful Joe. I mean, Capcom also did say they're have a special announcement in like what March or something. That's gonna
Oh,
be, like,
yeah, that's true. They did say
million
that.
Copy
They did say that.
sale. They didn't announce what it was, but we shall see.
Dodge around. I like how this one has kind of devolved into casual chat. This is the one version difference that, like, actually has an impact on the video game compared between the Japanese and English versions. There is one box fewer in this puzzle in the Japanese version of the game. There was a box added to the English releases. I don't know why. But that one box makes this a lot slower because it complicates the puzzle pretty dramatically.
I like
also
lots of
there is-
music for box pushing.
The music in this game in general is like, I can't think of the right word for
Intense.
it, but it's intense, but also it's like so frantic. Trying to imagine someone playing this on an action mission, it's like, like the instrumentation is going absolutely crazy. T-Rex. Okay, so this is like a boss fight, usually. You have to, like, you know, shoot the T-Rex with your gun. However, you may notice that we're a bit shortchanged on that. That's me in the corner. That's me in the spot. Okay, so this is the strat when you're on no weapon. Spin. What is this? There's an item in the corner. That item does not always spawn. What are you? I would like that, actually. That will let me make more hemostat later if I need it. I instantly forgot the word that I just read, but like it's like one of the mixing agents for healing items. Trust me. So this is one of those fights where it's both like a health bar and a timer. Like the health bar is a timer, so if you deal damage to the T-Rex, the amount of time this fight takes is less. But it is still possible to complete without a weapon. You just simply have to spin. But the movements of the T-Rex are not consistent. You can't just like hold up in a direction and like forget about it. You have to pay attention to when he stops and when he starts doing stuff. And once again, this is a fight where you have potential to just die instantly, because if you get hit solid by one of the bites, you explode. But there's risk to this. But I'm pretty confident that I know what I'm doing. I hope. Famous last words. Oh, rough.
Regina, over here!
Okay, that went quite well. That might not have looked like much, but I didn't get like stepped on or anything,
We're
so
screwed. The chopper's history.
my health stays
How
high.
are we gonna get out of here?
Calm down. We'll just have to find another way.
Ma, come on.
My favorite quirk of that fight in any percent is that you need to fire like 3 grenades quickly to deal enough damage. And if you just hold down the fire button, it doesn't work. But if you hold down up while doing it, you reload a hair faster, and then it works.
Elevator shot.
Reason
We'll have
unknown.
to find another way.
Like, it's not the act of shooting upwards that makes the reload animation faster. It's specifically holding up while you reload that does it. This is my favorite kind of dinosaur. They're compies. They're cute. They absolutely can still hurt you, though. So I'm leaving. Can't remember how you pronounce their full name. I mean, I can remember it, but I can only remember what it is in Japanese, and it sounds even worse in Japanese than it does in English, so I'm not going to say it.
You done yet?
What do you
We had to read that note, otherwise this cutscene doesn't trigger. That wasn't like a mistake, by the way. I just like kind of glossed over that real fast. Because that note we read contains like the instructions, where it's like, there are boats at the port, and then she relays this information to Rick in this implied fade to black. So now we're going to proceed into the bowels of the facility to find a boat.
You know, I wonder why they would have it in the fade to black and not like the long silence in that elevator ride.
Okay, we're here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's implied. It's implied that she
We should
mentioned
be able
it.
to get to the underground port from here.
Like, she could just say the word boats
Then let's
and
do
then,
it.
like,
Hurry.
nothing
I'm
else,
worried
and
about
then you have more
Our
effect.
fearless leader. Fine. Let's move out.
Yeah, they're on like an island right now. Like the premise of this game that we kind of glossed over because I skipped the opening FMV. The only cutscenes that can be skipped are the FMVs, and there's only like 2 of them. The opening and the ending. Which makes the ending of the run really abrupt. But if you don't... Like, it's not that they're skippable, it's that you can disable them in the launcher settings in the PC port. And if you don't disable them, they're unskippable. So you lose time that way. Also, here's a cute touch. The weapon that I dropped, the bone, is still there. I dropped it on the elevator earlier, but when the elevator now comes down for this part of the game, the bone goes with it.
Gale?
Still there, still in the background of the cutscene, and there it shall stay for the rest of the game.
I like how sassy the game is by just constantly pointing to it.
There's gotta be a ship we can
Yeah, it's just like, here,
Like, to a
pick
point
it up.
itself, or at this point mid-cutscene, it's just like, hey.
They really don't expect you. Here's the thing, though. they don't expect you to leave it this long to, like, still have not picked it up, but they also bothered to program in that the gun doesn't disappear if you leave it there on the elevator when it moves down, because the elevator's not going back up. So, like, they knew it was a possibility that someone might do this. There are other times when your weapons can get knocked out of your hands. Like, certain kinds of dinosaur attack can actually disarm you. And in those cases, you can also just leave your weapons in rooms and never go pick them up again. You know, if you want. Steal a battery from a nearby power room. Fortunately, we don't have to restore the power this time. Rick will do it for us.
This is all we need to restore the power.
Make a drinking game out of how many times you have to restore power to something in Dino Crisis.
You handle our escape route.
Regina's, like, role in the squad is that she's, like, the weapons expert, but really, she should be the electrical engineer, I think.
But she's the weapons expert with no weapons.
Yeah.
Why did they bring her?
I'm the best weapons expert. The best weapons is my fists. That's the expert.
Maybe it's meant to be like a monk-based message. The best weapon is none. And just to teach some restraint or something.
Such an expert of weapons, I don't need any. Anyway, ouch. Having no weapons really didn't work out for me then. That's a QT where if you fail it, you die instantly. Anyway, that's an enemy type whose name I've forgotten. They're going to be the biggest obstacle throughout the back half. Their attacks have massive hitboxes, and they're a huge pain to dodge around. Here's this guy. He exists. I don't like him. He didn't attack me, which is very merciful of him.
There's something really trippy about dinosaurs just kind of like punching you like it's a Rocky movie.
Yeah, they do. They just punch you. They box you. Those guys box you. And if you're really unlucky, they might try and bite you. And that's unlucky because it inflicts bleed. Okay, up, hook, left, down, release. We are once again back at Crane Card Game Puzzle Round 2. And I have a whole system, like, I'm doing this with my notes open, because I do not have the solutions to this memorized, because they're too long-winded for that. But I have, like, a whole note system for this. Upright hook. I feel like I gave away that I've got, like, notes open for this, but I also don't want to give the impression that anyone running this game should be expected to memorize this, because, like, no. Just write it down.
Honestly, every speedrunner should have notes for their game.
Everyone should.
Memorizing this stuff is just like... You can peek the note while this crane is going to the next one and just get the movements ready that you know.
Up, down, release, right, hook. One of the reasons that I'm able to be on the show so much is, like, not only that I run, like, so many games, but I'm able to de-rust them quickly because I keep notes on, like, all of them. I have an entire Dropbox folder that has just, like, dozens and dozens of games worth of notes.
Have you hit the point where you start yelling at your old self because your old self took notes that report? Okay, just making sure. I've been
really
dealing with that a lot
past.
lately. It's like reading hieroglyphics I wrote down in like 2018, and it's like, why did you write this?
I got mad at my Illbleed notes because they're wrong. Like I didn't bother to write down when the strats changed, and now I don't remember. It's like,
oh god,
I have to relearn some stuff for that.
You know, it's actually weird that in the tenure of the show, we've hit long enough a point where I actually started running Illbleed. I actually know the run now. Also, as asked in chat, the theme of the night is matching with our new partner show, Aimbot. So we're focused on shooting-based games. And then for hints of irony, the first game of the night is a game where you specifically don't shoot any guns.
Ever. No guns. We're following up the gun show with no guns. Oh, good RNG on that one. So this room, we got to pass through this room a few times. This is a big pain point for the run, is dodging these two jerks. Look at them chase. Look at them. Look at them with their goofy expressions. I hate them. Look, ooh. Angry at them. But that was lucky. I was able to pass by there without too much difficulty. That was fortunate. But dodging through these series of rooms is like... There's a lot to learn with this, but sometimes the pattern is just dreadful. That was weird, but I didn't get hit, so I guess it's okay. Thumbs up. Let me through, let me through, let me through. Thank you. This hallway is very narrow. I think on, like, hard mode, when you start with a grenade launcher, I think it's optimal to just kill that guy, but that's obviously not an option on no weapon. That one gets in the way. Alright, time for a socially awkward interaction. Regina, go.
Gale!
Yeah, well, at least Kirk's running out of places to hide.
Great conversation. You have to see this to progress the game. Regina walks into the room, says Gale, Gale goes, yeah, and leaves. And that's the exchange, and you have to see that or the plot does not progress.
I mean, I get it.
Inspiring. You would like this keycard. Ah, there's no dinosaurs around, though. Nothing to be worried about. Quick turn. Ah, there we go.
I'm glad he waited for you to do that.
Just waits for you to stand up again. It's very polite. He'll break into this room. This is basically guaranteed. I've never seen it not happen. I do want this, though. No, pick it up. Yeah. Cool. Ran around. The way he chooses to attack requires a certain amount of like dynamism from you about which way you choose to dodge back out. Somehow he teleports back outside the room immediately. No, wait, I think a different dinosaur spawns in that hallway after you activate it. Anyway. Either way, there's a guy right there. And now we're going to head back, unlock a different door. But coming out of this vent is a pain point because will I get past the guy in the hallway or is he going to smack me with his butt? Nah. Butt smack. Okay. Didn't get butt smacked twice. Could be worse, could be worse. That's random. You just hold forward and hope for the best there. It's not, you don't have many other options.
Regina, I fixed it. You can open the shutters now.
Yay, we can open the laser fences. We will proceed to not do this. Okay, but they're at the end of the hallway running into it, which is convenient for me. I get a free buy on that dodge because they're busy playing with the electric fence. Ooh, and no dinosaur break-in. So whether or not they chase you into this room is also random, and that causes a cutscene if they do, where like the camera pulls away and focuses on them like doing a little song and dance as they walk into the room. But they did not, which is good for me.
Regina, it looks like this door leads to the port.
I do enjoy the dinosaurs in terms of how dynamic they are as an enemy in this game. If a dinosaur chases you, but like misses the final lunge and they bump into a wall, it makes a really funny like Looney Tunes sound effect. It goes like It goes like bonk. I can't make it. There's no sound I can make with my hands that is an approximation.
Huh. Sounds like we're not the only ones.
But they
having
just
problems.
totally wipe out
I'm
on the
glad
wall.
you're amused.
And it makes me
But if
laugh
that
every
guy
time it
gets
happens in a
eaten,
run.
We're going to have to retrieve the key from that dinosaur's stomach. You've got to save him.
Okay, so now we're going to head back to the main elevator. But we're actually not going to do that. Twist. So, a strange quirk of this segment, still no dino break-in, which is good, is that if we go through 2 rooms in the wrong direction, and it's specifically number of rooms here, dodge this way. Nice. That was quick reactions on my part. I am proud of myself. 2 rooms in the wrong direction and then immediately go back. That causes something to happen that is advantageous to us. Because we're supposed to be making haste right now, but in this case we did not make haste. This position is very weird. I did not get hit though, so I am laughing. Haha. Goodbye. So far the dodges are working out for me. How about this? This is dodge left. No, it wasn't. Fine, you can take a hit. The swipes have a very large hitbox, but they don't do like a huge amount of damage. They do enough that it piles up. Every single time you pass through one of these rooms, it's a pain point. Right, this is the advantageous thing. If you get here 2 rooms late, you get treated to like an abridged version of this cutscene where this dinosaur, the T-Rex, emerges from the main elevator and just immediately brains itself on the nearby pipe. Like, that dude is out cold. If you show up there immediately, you get a longer cutscene where it chases after you and then brains itself on the pipe. So it is faster to actually just waste 2 rooms worth of running back and forth and then go to it, because the cutscene is that much shorter. It's very odd that that detail exists because it has no implication on like the route, it's just a small detail. If you take your time getting there, you get a shorter cutscene, implying that you arrived late. But for whatever reason, you have to get a certain distance. Like, you can't just, like, circle back and forth between 2 rooms. It has to be, like, 2 rooms far away in the wrong direction. We're still ignoring our gun. Okay, key retrieved from now eaten characters who we only heard on the radio. T-Rex is still out cold. He will be there for the remainder of the game. And back through the pain hallways. What's the dodges gonna be? What's it gonna be? Solid reactions, thank you very much. And that was a reaction. It might have looked like I just guessed, but no. I was ready. I was on the ball, and I am pleased with myself for being on the ball. I get to feel good about myself. Let yourself enjoy your small accomplishments. Every single time you pass through those rooms with those 2 guys in it, it can be a big pain point for the run. You can get cornered, you can get smacked around, you can lose a lot of health, you can get grabbed. The late game of Dino Crisis has high randomness, but also, like, you do get better at reading the situation to make correct dodges, but also sometimes the pattern is just really bad. You know? It's a give and take. It's like, it's
Kirk's personal lab.
I'd say it's like, it's half and half, I'd say. It's like 50% skill and reading the situation to make the correct dodge and 50% luck. Because sometimes you get dealt some horrendous patterns. Where, like, it's not reasonable to be like, oh, I should have dodged that, because it's like, nah. Sometimes the pattern just sucks, you know?
So how are we supposed to get around this thing?
But it's hard to tell sometimes, where it's like, was the pattern that bad, or did I just react too slowly? It'd be hard to tell sometimes.
I'll pull up any relevant data.
It's that kind of game.
Regina, you search around for any possible clues or leads.
As someone who speedruns a lot of games, it's one of those things I think about a lot, is like, when am I being too hard on myself, and when was the luck really just like, when was the luck just bad, you know? Sometimes the luck's just bad, you know? Can't beat yourself up over nothing but poor luck. Was it really the poor luck? Being slow? Oh, immediate braking on the way back out. That's odd. Dodge then left. Haha. Yeah, so that's an example of what it looks like when they break through. Don't know what happened on the way back out, but okay. Handling it well so far. Let me through. Thank you. Was I bad? Or was game bad? Oh, here's another cute detail. This is normally a metal detector. So running through here would normally trigger a metal detector where you have to solve like a little mini puzzle involving the console to clear the metal detector. We have no weapons though. And if you have no weapons, the game actually recognizes that and thus doesn't trigger the metal detector. So we can skip that part completely. That is another cute detail about having no weapons. Alright, time to solve a puzzle. We have to match once again the figure on the bottom. Now we exchange the colors. Cool. I'm glad I remember how to do that. There we go. I wasn't hitting the door.
Sterilization is effective while in facility.
And we just need one more key to get into the main energy generator of the underground facility where they're generating the third energy. Third energy being basically like time travel goo. Unfortunately, it will be the last like word puzzle we have to solve in this run. Where are the guys, the dudes, the individuals? There they are. Hello. Goodbye. That was a fortunate position. There are 2 enemies in that room, and the spawns can definitely be unkind to you. That was an example of just plain good luck. I just ran forward and there were no issues. It was good luck. And here is the final one of these word puzzles, and this guy password locks his laboratory with his name. Just the password is just Dr. Kirk. It's honestly faster to just like Wheel of Fortune that one rather than actually trying to work it out manually. I think this is a game made by artists who really liked drawing complicated machinery. Because it occurs to me lately that there's like a lot of like just pipes and whirring pistons and stuff in this game. Like there's a lot of generators whirring to life and the bits moving and stuff in this game.
They are cool.
It's like very emphasized in this game's art direction in a way that strikes me compared to like Resident Evil or something. I feel like someone very much enjoyed the technical drawings. I mean, this game would have been like technically impressive for the PS1 because having like very large detailed structures like that would have been quite novel. Fortunately, last time we have to do this pipe puzzle as well. This will restore power to the computer. Now I can log on to computer. This is the noise it makes when you log on to a computer. This is what it sounds like when I boot up my computer. Don't know about you guys. I'm logging on. I'm entering the
Generator test complete. Remember,
I've been rejected from the internet.
is required to operate the generator.
Regina hates computer. And punches it.
It's called percussive maintenance.
Regina fails to log on and punches computer. And unfortunately, a murder has taken place in this room, although I think that guy was dead already, so I'm not really sure what the point of that was. We can pick up Dr. Kirk's fingerprints from a bloody handprint he left on the wall. There are actually multiple places you can get this fingerprint from. You can get it from him proper later in this run, but it's faster to get it there. I just think it's neat that you can do that you can get the fingerprint from either the environment or the character. They included multiple solutions to that puzzle. That's kinda neat. We run forward and ooh!
And what do you think you're doing?
Carving a name for myself.
I wasn't expecting that.
Ultimate energy
I didn't think it would be the bone.
Open your eyes, you freak. Your precious creation is nothing more than another.
This is the longest unbroken cutscene streak in the game. That took the wind out of me. I was not expecting it to be the bone.
Intelligence.
Maybe he just really liked the bone on the elevator and went back for it.
To die.
Rick, our target has been secured. Report here immediately. Sorry to interrupt your lecture, Doc. You were saying?
Yes.
Yeah, this is where we get the lore dump.
I discovered how the third energy could affect space if it ran unchecked 3 years ago. I thought that the energy had the ability to transfer selective space to an alternate time-space continuum. But I was incorrect. The space was not transferred, it was exchanged. To put it in terms that even you can understand, third energy has the ability to replace a pocket in space with one from a different time.
What?
Different time.
I came to these conclusions following this evening's final experiment. You've seen the effects yourself. Those beasts were occupying the space this facility is located on almost 65 million years ago.
Right. So that's how those dinosaurs appeared in our time.
Precisely.
I like how Gale just doesn't care about this at all.
I have done.
He's just like, right, okay.
How many people were sacrificed before you made this discovery?
Who cares? The numbers are quite irrelevant. Let's just say that there were
Irrelevant.
many
I love this guy.
extraordinary deaths.
I love his
of ordinary men.
this guy had fun with the role.
Spoken like a true devil.
A god or a devil? I don't care about that. Only my experiment.
Enough. Only one thing matters at this point. Your grand invention is blocking our escape.
You need to destroy the vortex. The only way to do that is to allow the generator's third energy levels to overload. Theoretically speaking, the third energy and the vortex will cancel each other out if they come in contact with one another. But there is one small catch. If you cannot stop the generator's third energy overload, this entire region may be shifted to another point in the space-time continuum.
Then we'll just make sure to be somewhere else when the shift happens. No problem.
But we couldn't even activate the device.
You're missing the initializer and stabilizer, right?
Where are they?
Calm down. They should be stored in one of the security level A rooms on floor B3.
Very good, Doc. Now you understand our situation. We live, you live.
I press one button to close item menu, and the scene continues.
Okay. I'm all set to whip up a program that will send a stream of third energy into the vortex.
I'll keep an eye on the doctor. Regina, you go find those devices and overload the third energy. Remember, they're in a security level A room on floor B3.
Hold up. That whole floor is crawling with dinosaurs, including that T-Rex. Let's get this situation under control before charging off. Here, take this.
Once again, we are being presented with another one of these, like, branch points. Gale's plan is just to get the devices that we need from the room where they're in. Rick's idea is build them yourselves.
Don't be ridiculous. Regina doesn't have the technical knowledge for that. We don't even know if all the right parts are there. We'd be better off simply trying to hunt down the completed devices.
And Gale is completely correct, because the process of collecting all of the parts and assembling them takes forever. It's extremely long-winded.
Okay.
But we're not going to do that. We're going to just get the full versions from the room where they're kept.
Don't drop your guard for a second.
And you might be led to think, right, that the choices you make, whether or not you side with Gale or Rick primarily over the course of the game, would affect, like, the ending, like it would branch the story somehow. Nope. Not at all. With the exception of the final choice, the choices you make over most of the game don't do anything. Oh, there's a guy here. He missed. Aha. That was relatively fortunate that he missed. But okay, fortunately, that's the longest unbroken cutscene stretch in the game. We are now back in the realm of playing the game. Kind of unfortunate that there's, like, 4-minute cutscenes smack at, like, the hour mark of this one, but... speedruns, sometimes they're like that. Okay, we're going to rewrite our ID card one last time with Dr. Kirk's fingerprints, and now we have Dr. Kirk's ID card, which gives us ultimate control. Basically, we can use the fancy special elevator now. Do I get a buy on this guy? Yes, I do. Smashing. See you later, pal. Alright, what's the dodge? They're playing with the electric fence again. I like how you just see them in the background smashing into it with their faces as I run by. Alright, what's the dodge here? Oh, that's very close. Wow, that hit from miles out. I disagree with that, but okay, I didn't get comboed while I was on the ground at least, so I guess it's okay. I forgive the fact that that was very, very dubiously a hit in exchange for not dying instantly while on the ground. Because if they hit you with that knockdown like that, it's a dangerous position, because if they choose to bite your head while you're on the ground, you probably die. You can get wombo combo to death if that happens. It's a scary situation. Alright, what's the dodge? What's the dodge? Where's the guy? Where's the guy? There's the guy. He's not even looking at me. Alright, see you later. There is sometimes an enemy in this room. He spawned on the other side of it, so cool. These are all random. Enemy positions in these rooms are massively random. They can be anywhere. They can spawn pretty much directly on top of you as you enter the room. Or they can be sleeping in a completely different corner of a room. So you have no way of knowing. Endgame, very variable. Because we are in the endgame now. This is the initializer and stabilizer that we need. They are kept apparently in... It makes sense that they'd be kept in the same room logistically. It's just you don't expect that out of horror games. Logic dictates that with horror games, a key item and a different key item would be in different places. Like for flavor. But Dino Crisis is all about that reality, you know? It's a realistic game. That's why it's a game about fighting dinosaurs. The most realistic setting of all. Where's the guy? Where's the guy? There's the guy. He wasn't looking at me. Ooh, okay, good. He whiffed. T-Rex is still out cold on the floor of the basement here. Bro has been sleeping for like about a third of the game now. I would also like to be sleeping. It is like 4 a.m. for me right now. I stay up very late to do these hotfixes. Please appreciate it. Right, what's the dodge? What is the dodge? Not that. Ow. I need to heal or die. I'm probably better served by just resetting the room, honestly. That went so poorly, I think I'm better served by just resetting the room and walking back in. That's an example of things going quite badly. Get it. There's a frame-perfect skip you can do there where you get in the elevator at the same time the dinosaur breaks in. And you can save time from having to get the animation, although apparently it's very hard and I'm the only person who's got it. The only time anyone's ever seen it, apparently, is a clip where I did it. So I go for it every time, but it's not a common strat. Very difficult. Alright, now we can log on to computer with Dr. Kirk's card. Yeah, fortunately, I was able to avoid dying in those rooms. Now that I'm through that room, we're pretty good for, like, the rest of the speedrun. I didn't get killed, at least. Yeah, that dinosaur trapping me and hitting me a lot there, that can happen anytime you pass between those two rooms. Anytime. There are many chances for this to go wrong. Many. The fact it only happened once is actually pretty good overall. But I was not ready for the dodge that time because he was like exactly on the camera boundary. It was very awkward. It probably would have worked out better if I committed to a direction, but oh well. Oh well. These things happen. I'll be honest with you, when I do this this run for like a hotfix or a marathon or something, my goal is just don't die. If I get through those rooms without getting killed, it's a good day, you know? Here we are, installing the parts and fixing up the generator. This is what I mean when I say I feel like the people who worked on this game very much enjoyed all of like the imagery of little moving parts and machinery and what have you. Because boy, if this set piece doesn't emphasize it like a lot. Like, ooh, ah, pipes moving. Ooh, pistons. Yes. I mean, they're pretty nice looking rooms. It just strikes me that Dino Crisis takes like a very heightened interest in them. Okay, and that's the second piece we need to install. Now we can overload the generator. What happens if you stop the initializer and stabilizer? You can't. If you try and use the wrong one in the wrong place, it will go, you can't use it here. And it does matter which one you use where. It just doesn't accept the wrong one.
Warning. Third energy output is approaching critical point. Cease operation immediately. Third energy output is approaching critical point. Attempting to compensate.
Okay, Regina. Adjust the power output to maximum.
Here goes. Just remember there's no turning back once it overloads.
Then we won't look back. Crank that sucker and let's go out with a boom.
Danger. Generator has surpassed safety parameters. Third energy overload in progress. All personnel evacuate immediately. Repeat. All personnel evacuate immediately.
Okay, so now we're firmly in like the Resident Evil ending territory. There's a meltdown occurring, facility's going to explode, etc., etc. I mean, it's not going to explode, but it's going to be traveled through time.
You fool. What was the point in saving me? How pathetic.
Okay, so now everything's blowing up and Gale is stuck under a pipe. Despite the fact that Regina doesn't know this, our goal is to go back to the room where Dr. Kirk was in and go, you know, see this. Game only has... Yeah, this game only has English voice acting. It has no Japanese dub at all. It never had Japanese voices.
Gale!
Okay. Just get Kirk.
Actually, pretty much every horror game of
Take it
this
easy,
era
Gale.
doesn't have a Japanese dub, despite having Japanese text.
Tagged him with.
Like, Resident Evil didn't gain a Japanese dub until
Gale.
Resident Evil
Gale!
Revelations, I think, 2. Revelations 2 specifically. Dino Crisis has never had a Japanese dub, and Silent Hill also never had a Japanese dub, so that's like all three of the major ones.
All right. The overload levels
Just,
are
it's always been English only with Japanese text,
Just a
even in the
little more.
Japanese versions.
looking good. Gale, what happened to him?
I don't know, but Kirk's gone.
I'm gonna kill him!
I do like the difference in intensity between the English line and the Japanese subtitle there. Rick says, "I'll kill him," when the Japanese is just "kso," which is like, just like "damn" or
This
something.
is it. All that's left is our escape.
It's much more intense threat occurring in the English.
Let's go.
Wait, what about Kirk?
What about him?
This is
It's a
the
miracle
choice
we're
that
still alive
forks
at
the
this
ending.
point. Forget about him.
Only this one.
Don't forget.
And it's the only time we're going to agree with Rick.
Babysit.
Sorry, but I have a conscience. I'm taking you back now.
No. You two get going. I'm going after Kirk.
What? You're insane! Don't you remember our situation? The third energy can't be controlled anymore. Staying here any longer is suicide.
I know. If I'm not back in 30 minutes, you two make your escape without me.
Hey, do something!
Do something! And then Regina does something.
Gale!
Bonk.
Thanks.
Yes.
That GI.
So Rick's choice here stops Gale from leaving. If we pick Gale's choice, it forks the game, where we go down a different path of chasing Dr. Kirk instead. The only way to get the best ending is to punch Gale, and then also go after Dr. Kirk yourself. But we're not going to do that. We're going to pursue the simple ending where everyone escapes together. So the only way to get the best ending is to pick one thing and then do a different thing. That choice and that choice alone is what branches the game. The only thing that determines your ending is how you do that one. Once again, the extremely chaotic music has returned. The soundtrack of this game is ridiculous. I don't know what to call it. It's ridiculous, man.
Okay, let's get out of here.
We can't. At least not yet. It needs fuel and some repairs before it'll move.
I'll take care of the fuel then.
It looks like this thing's powered by some type of nuclear energy. Here, put the fuel in this.
I'm going to go handle nuclear energy with bare hands. This is great.
Well, that's why she's the weapons expert. Maybe she's the only one who could have done this very thing.
Gotta get it right in the middle, otherwise it doesn't work properly. There we go. The hitbox for that is very fussy. Do you need a gun to stop Kirk? You know what? I don't think you do, actually. I've never tried to do best ending without a gun, but, like, it helps. Definitely.
Good enough?
But I'm not sure it's required. I don't think you need a weapon to get any of the endings in this game.
Leave him to me. You just work on getting that thing fixed.
Right. Hold up, Regina. Take this.
Take this. No. That's a weapon. We can't have that. Goodbye. I forget what's actually in the box. It's like, it's a weapon of some description.
He finally woke up.
Frantic music has evolved into its final form.
Intruder detected at port. Lockdown in progress.
Okay, so now we're stuck in the port with an angry T-Rex and no gun. What's a Regina to do except run away? So this is the final boss, and we don't actually need to shoot it to win. You just have to take a solid line. Time will be coming up shortly, provided I don't get stuck on the corner. And time.
GG.
Mail.
I have mail. Yeah, so normally you'd see the ending in an FMV, but like I said, on the PC port, they're skipped automatically, or rather disabled in the launcher, so it just kind of smash cuts from that to the post-mission briefing. They all escape on, like... They all escape on a boat. They're fine, on like a speedboat. They zoom out of there. Regina like jumps on, they zoom out of there. I think Rick shoots it with like a torpedo or something. It explodes.
Gale did survive.
Everyone lives. Yay! And that's Dino Crisis.
Military medical facility.
That's Dino Crisis. No weapon. Dino Crisis completed without firing a bullet.
The data that was recovered from
Not a single solitary shot was fired.
Status. Alive.
As for myself, I'm ready to begin my next assignment.
Tom.
As we said, this game is timed with the IGT, so we will see our IGT at the end here. This is a valid run for submission purposes, so
he will be missed.
Let's see the time. It's not a PB. I'm not keeping track of the splits, but
lost contact with Cooper at the beginning of the mission.
Not a PB, but still, I gotta check, you know. It would also help if I actually knew what my PB was, which it occurs to me I don't right now. I didn't bother to look. 118, that's a number. Yeah, is it a good number? Probably not. I think the record for this is like a 116 or something. Like even lower than that, quite possibly. I don't know. You think I would have checked? I didn't.
Operation.
Your PB is 116.56.
Oh, okay, so like I'm about a minute. Yeah, that makes sense. About a minute. About a minute in the other direction. Smashing. But there's one thing to see, at least before we do like the whole outro amble. If you complete the game without using a continue, Excellent. You got mad skills. I have mad skills. I don't know what that... Don't ask. Right. That's Dino Crisis.
All right. Thank you very much for the Dino Crisis run. If anyone did want to watch you do more game, where can they find you?
You can find me at Twitch TV/Punchy. You can also find me on YouTube at PunchyYT. I make videos about silly stuff. I put up a video recently about beating Resident Evil 2 without taking a single step. You might enjoy that if you enjoy beating Dino Crisis without firing a bullet. That's a lot harder to do than this. You might like that. So please check those out.
All right. Thank you once again for the wonderful run of Dino Crisis. For everyone else here, we have plenty of more runs coming on tonight. We have about 3 more, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back very quick. All right, everyone. Welcome back from the break. Hope you're all doing good. Hope you're all doing well. We are back to the crypt. We finished a run of Dino Crisis with no weapons, and now we're going to hit some runs that do have weapons. This year actually had a good few horror shooter game releases, and we have a couple of really recent games that are going to be quite fun, and one game that's not so recent. However, to start things off on the, I guess, shooting portion of tonight's show, we're going to be having the System Shock remake with Blood Thunder. Take it away.
Hey everybody, welcome to my showcase of the System Shock remake speedrun. This game came out just a couple months ago, but the OG of it came out back in 1994, so basically a 30-year gap between the original and the remake. It's a pretty faithful adaptation from what I've heard. I've not actually played or watched too much of the original, but they did change a few things here and there. So if you've played the OG, you'll be like, oh, this is kind of the same, but I'm sure the speedrun is not even close. We have some shenanigans to get up to, a lot of out of bounds. And we're just going to get into it, so we have plenty of things to talk about as we run. So we're going to start a new game. We're going to play on all ones. You can change the difficulty of different parts. So our combat, the puzzles and all that, we're just going to set the 1 as we run past it. As you see, most of this isn't really going to matter, but once we skip this cutscene, time will start. So in 3, 2, 1, and we're off. We're in our apartment. It is the year 2072, and we're set in New Atlanta. Not New Atlantis, but they made a second Atlanta. We're flicking some switches here and there because for whatever reason that allows us to get this laptop open and we can hack into it sooner. Normally you just have to wait around, but by hitting a whole bunch of stuff, the game's like, oh, you're doing stuff, you're interacting, you're free to move on. So we are a hacker and we're about to get caught here and taken up to the Citadel Station, which is where a lot of the plot and basically the entire game is going to take place. It is a space station off of Saturn. And you know anything about the System Shock series, it's where everything kind of takes place. All of the big familiar names and features. But first we have to get captured. So there's a cutscene that's going to play out, but we're actually just going to skip right over it, where we agree to help Edward Diego, who is kind of the vice president of the Citadel itself, hack in and remove the ethical constraints on the AI running the ship known as Shodan. Now it is 6 months later, we've woken up, we've made a deal, we've done those things, and it turns out Shodan has kind of taken over the entire station. Surprise, surprise. We're going to pick up a whole bunch of stuff here at the beginning of the game and make our way into the first area known as the medical bay. We're going to kill this robot that looks like it's straight out of Power Rangers and put in the infamous code 451. If you've ever played an immersive sim game, the Bioshocks, Deus Ex, Prey, or really any other game, 451 is a very infamous code, usually on the first door in the game, and it kind of originates from Looking Glass Studios, and more specifically from the OG System Shock. So we're picking up some stuff along the path. We're getting these med packs, which are kind of like items we can use to boost certain stats. We're getting some stamina ups, which allow us to have more stamina as we go through. We're going to pick up a grenade in this hidden wall. We've also picked up some berserk packs, which allows us to do more melee damage, and getting some med packs, which allow us to heal. So we have our health in the top right corner and our energy. The energy is going to be useful for weapons, as well as a few other things here and there. But in order to leave medical and advance further in the station, we need to lower the security low enough to activate the elevator. And to do that, you can either destroy cameras around the area, like this one up here, which we're not going to do. Or you can go destroy the big power relays, which are on every station. Going to get our first weapon, or first gun, I should say. We have the handy dandy lead pipe. But now we're going to try to go out of bounds. So we're going to do a quick save, quick load when we're crouched. And when we load back in, the game's going to make us stand straight up. And this object can move around, making it a little tricky. So yeah, by loading, the game will force us to stand up, which will conveniently place our head out of bounds. And now I'm entirely relying on the minimap in the bottom left-hand corner and my own knowledge of the game to navigate out of bounds on top of the area. And sometimes when you quick save, quick load, you can get the ability to see what you're doing again, which is pretty nice. So these are the power relays that I need to shoot, and I actually need to swap my weapon to being more damage. This weapon can be a low charge damage, high charge, or overpowered, which we can turn here, blow up these generators, and now the relays have been destroyed. But that is only part of the out of bounds. We have to get back in bounds, which is substantially harder. We need to navigate over to the cyborg reconstruction thing. And we need to activate it.
My cameras and sensors scan your body.
So if you've played something like BioShock, the successor to this franchise, you may remember Vita Chambers, which when you die, they're a spot that you can go and get revived. You don't have to start the game over. You don't lose progression. So we activate it. It acts in the same way. Whenever we die, we're going to warp back to one of these, as long as they are activated in the level. That gets us right back in bounds. And now we have access just to leave medical. There's nothing left for us to do here. It's kind of the introduction stage of the game. And we're heading up to research, where we begin kind of the first big quest. This is the laser mission, and it allows us to traverse across different levels, including the research we're in now, reactor, maintenance. And we need to stop a laser by overcharging it before it gets shot, so it gets destroyed. So we're going to activate another cyborg station here, just to the right. And now we need to take care of some enemies, because I'm about to lose stamina. We don't actually have the thing that shows us our stamina, because we didn't pick it up at the beginning of the game, so we don't really need it. It just kind of wastes time. But we do have it. After running for a bit, you will start running very, very slowly. Stamina up is going to let us run at full speed for a while. Use a med pack to heal up, and now we need to grab a key card. These back offices, and there's actually a second key card that we want to do in the back hallways. So we want to go and grab that from a dead body, which is going to allow us to skip a puzzle section down in the reactor. So it's just going to open a door, which is very, very handy. We're going to grab a pistol, which is going to allow us to destroy some cameras later on. The fastest way to get out of this section is to do a death warp. So we're going to throw a grenade on the floor, pick up a keycard from this body, and this is going to take us back to that cyborg reconstruction area that we just passed. You can see a lot of death warps early on in the game. We used to have a lot more death warps, kind of into the mid to late game, but those got replaced with some really confusing save warping, time traveling, universe hopping stuff. Time travel and timelines are not really a part of the game from a base lore perspective, but in a speedrun, things get a little crazy. So we're going to go grab the isotope from here, take some radiation damage. And I don't really need to kill off these enemies, but, you know, they're going to try to damage me. So if they're in the way and I can one-shot them, why not? Just going to leave that guy behind. Now, I will need to come back up here because in research is where the controls for firing the laser are. So I need to do all of this stuff, and then we're going to death warp right back up here. So I don't want to hit any more of those cyborg reconstruction things. I'm going to pick up a power node here. It's a little yellow thing. And that will let me basically auto-hack any puzzle that I choose. Makes it very, very useful. I'm going to head down to the reactor and just drop my lead pipe. So I want to have a different weapon on one eventually. We just don't currently have that weapon. Gonna overcharge these robots. Pick up another power node for later in the run. And the puzzles aren't really too bad to solve, but they are randomized from a certain pool of correct solutions. So every time you go to do a puzzle, it's going to be slightly different per run, which makes them really, really awful to do, and why we try our best to skip them at all cost. So we're going to plug in the isotope we picked up back in research, pull the switch, and then we need to go put in a code. I might not have enough health. I might need to redo this part. We'll see. This is going to be a little bit of a close call if I make it. So this is all in radiation, meaning I take constant damage. Yeah, okay. Luckily, we have saves, so if I ever mess up, I can just quickly reload. And the radiation builds up over time. You can see it in the top right corner. So even if you get out of a section that has radiation, it will still continue to do damage for you, to you, until it's run its course. It's really annoying. And this guy just killed me. Okay. The problem with overpowered shots is once you've used it, it does have a cooldown. This guy doesn't want to move. So if you miss a shot, which is very easy to do, you will just have to wait for it to cool down some more. Let's try this again. Okay. The sad thing is we actually do want to die, but we need to put in the code for the safety override and then pull the switch before we do that. So we've pretty much completed the second quest of the game. We just have to go fire the laser so it blows up. And then we're on to what's known as the virus mission, which is a very convoluted and confusing part of the game casually, and for the speedrun, it's where things gets very crazy, very fast. So these blue orbs floating around will just sap all of your energy if you get too close to them. We don't really need energy at the moment, but yeah, try to avoid them if I can. Okay, so we press the button and we are free to go. That is the second quest of the game completed. Things get a little sketchy on the way back out because all these guys spawn in. And they have a ranged attack. This is why we pick up the med packs earlier. Those don't instantly heal you. They heal over time. There are things that do heal you instantly, but we won't get those for a little bit. So we're going to go up to maintenance. And this is where we're going to shoot some cameras out because we need to lower the security. And here, and each camera is about 4% off the security. That one get broken? Okay. There is these giant spores that are going to spawn in, and they are very deadly. So in order to take care of them and pretty much everything else in the game, we're going to come up here and grab the coolest weapon and the most broken weapon, the laser rapier. It's definitely not a lightsaber, definitely distinct. This will be our main weapon of choice going forward. Okay, so I've destroyed all the cameras. That is going to unlock this door here. Just the med bay where we're going to activate another one of these respawn points. We're going to grab a med pack. I don't really need to use this now, but it is nice to have. I'm going to use our last stamina up, and we are off to the flight deck. So the flight deck, we need one thing specifically from here. We don't really need to do any quest progression stuff, but we're going to come up here to get the turbo boots. The turbo motion boots. And we're actually supposed to get another pair of them, I think, down in the storage area, which is a place we don't go to. That's the version 1. These are going to be the version 2. So I'm going to set that puzzle in place. Let's get rid of these guys in the way. Okay, so once we grab the turbo motion boots, we want to once again death warp back, which makes it really convenient that these pterodactyls will do a lot of damage and attack in rapid succession. We're going to go back down to the maintenance section of the game. And we can begin doing our time-traveling, multi-universe shenanigans. We get a brief taste of it here, and we'll see a lot of it in Executive, which is the next big section of the game. First, we have to go grab a power relay. So we're going to auto-hack this puzzle. So we don't want to actually do the puzzles. Pull off one of these. These blue batteries will charge up your energy to its max and then go on cooldown. We'd like to grab those when we can. Get a power relay, doesn't matter which of those you grab. And right out here, we are going to make a save. So, the way we need to go eventually is that door right there. That is the elevator to Executive, but we need to go do some more stuff in maintenance. The way that this stuff is going to work is the one we're going to clip out. Is normally when you reload a save, you do not keep any progression. That's how games work. You make a save, go do something, and come back. And, you know, your progression is gone when you save, or when you load again. A lot of games use save scumming kind of techniques to like go explore something, and if nothing's there, they warp back and learn stuff. That's not necessarily the case for this game. There are certain things and certain quest progression instances, like putting in this power relay, where if we load during a very specific part of the animation, we actually get to keep the progression from this, despite the fact that we're reloading a save that we just made. And that will allow us to just continue on, and we are going to fully abuse that in Executive. So much so that we're making trips between different timelines with different saves. Trying to make a save here. And now, for this mission, which is known as like the virus mission, we need to stop the production of a certain virus by jettisoning these different groves. There's the Alpha Grove, the Delta Grove, and the Beta Grove out into space. So we're going to go do all these groves, and you can see it kind of takes a while to get to. Instead of death warping back or running back, we're just going to do a load and keep our progression all the way through. But like I said, it's very specific things that you can do this with, and very specific animations. So if I ever miss time, this stuff, it will not work, and when we get to what we need to actually activate, it has a chance of not working entirely, so that's no good for me. So the turbo motion boots we got earlier allow for you to fly. So now that we're out of bounds, we can fly through the air, land on some invisible stuff, because once again, we can't really see the map, unfortunately. This is probably the hardest trick to pull off in the game, just mechanically, because you need enough speed to land at certain heights, need a little bit more speed. So I'm basically navigating like via the mini-map, and then some little markers here and there against the wall. This might do it. Ooh, a little bit more to the left. So you can't get indefinite height, but you get a little bit of height from just a base jump, and then you can kind of float forever. So we're doing all of this so that we can peek back in bounds by crouching and leaning. I'm going to make a hard save here in case something goes wrong, but I need to pull this lever, and before I put my weapons away, we're going to load that that save I made back when we got into Executive. So now I should have that switch activated, despite the fact that I reloaded a save. And we're going to go do that essentially 2 more times. So we're going to make another save here that we will come back to. And I'm doing a quick save, quick load to open these doors. For the Alpha and Delta, this doesn't save a whole lot of time. There's just a button you can press. For the Beta Grove that we get to here in just a little bit, it does actually skip going off and running to Edward Diego's office, which is a pretty good time save. We also hear Edward Diego's same dialogue a couple times because we're reloading the game. And for whatever reason, it just gets really loud. So Delta's a pretty quick one to do. Just going to fly up.
I say we deserve better. We deserve Shodan and her gift of immortality.
I will say there's always a chance of the game crashing when we're doing these save load stuff, so Hopefully it doesn't happen, but the game is known to have some issues here and there. All right, so that's our second branch done. Now, to get to the Beta Grove, there's a couple different ways you can do it, getting back in bounds. Ideally, you would skip this key card and instead you would use your turbo motion boots to float underneath the floor and then do a save load through the floor, but that's a very sketchy trick to do, not one I'm personally a fan of, especially not for showcases like this. So we're just going to grab this key card and then clip up through the ceiling. So again, I'm using the mini map here and just some markers around the map to hopefully get where I need to go. And not every like roof that we're landing on is flat. A lot of these have varying heights, so you kind of have to like learn when you need to jump even higher or if you need to crouch over something. A lot of weird collision up here. So this little power relay on the map is a spot to make a save. This is a good indicator that we're in the right spot. You can crouch to load back in the map, and the key card is going to allow me to interact with this door. That's why I went and grabbed it. Gets us back in bounds, and now we're at the Beta Grove. So we're not supposed to be able to open this door, but if we do a save load, we can open it. And now we're going to make another save. And Beta Grove is where, from here to the end, we're going to start making multiple timelines. So we've already like done that a little bit, but we're going to start actually traversing through them. So I can actually use my first aid and Berserk here without worrying about using them because we're going to load back, right? So all of that gets undone. So I will be able to have these for future usage once we get past this area as well. Nice elevator music. This area is fully corrupted, which is why I need it full health. So that I don't die. Okay. So now we're going to go back to that one save we made before we got back in bounds on top of the map. Quick save again. And we're going to fly over to the master jettison switch. You're supposed to be able to pull this once you have all three of those things done and the power relay connected in maintenance. So if I get over here and this is working, we're all good. If not, we kind of have a problem, but let's see. Okay, thing is yellow. That's a good sign. So I'm going to make a save here. And once we pull this, that unlocks progression for the Beta Jettison Grove. So we can go launch that. So we're going to go back here to a previous save that we made after opening the train car. So we have this jettison switch that we hit, break it, and then we're going to load that switch that we just pulled, which should already be pulled. But we're going to use this to get back in bounds. So we've now jettisoned all the stuff. Realistically, in this timeline, we never pulled any of the switches. We just pulled the jettison grove and then got back in bounds. It's kind of weird that things get a little confusing and hard to track. We just hopped through 3 different timelines there. But that's the big obstacle of the run. We got past that, so I'm pretty happy. The rest is just doing some fun out of bounds. We're sticking in the same timeline. But we need to go grab ourselves one more upgrade. These are the Tier 3 boots. That allow us to fly a little bit faster, a little bit further, and it's going to come in real handy for the next level. But we're going to be entirely skipping the big quest from here on out. There's a quest that you need to do, blow up the reactor and kind of shut down the station so that Shodan can't escape. That we're just going to entirely bypass by going out of bounds. We need to crouch up and save load here, so we get out of bounds. Up on top of this part. Ooh. We don't need to actually solve this puzzle. This is actually for a return trip that we unlock a shortcut. We just need to interact with it so it pulls us back in bounds, and then we can immediately leave and fly up towards the end elevator over here. So typically your progression is stopped at this point by the next set of doors. But because we can just go out of bounds, the next set of doors don't really matter. I'm just going to come over here to this corner. If you've been paying attention, once again, we are just going to get into this little wedge spot, save load, pop our head up through the flooring, or through the ceiling, I should say. And this is another one where we have to do a giant hover around a whole bunch of collision and then come back in. So this one's a little bit tricky. Once again, looking at the mini map, we need to essentially climb all the way up this room from the outside. And by that, I mean we're just going to immediately clip back in bounds by going up through the flooring here. I am doing this over the void, so I'm going to make a actual manual save and then quick save, quick load, hopefully pop up through. This one's a real nightmare half the time. Also, enemies will instantly spot you and become very, very problematic. So we're going to pop a heal, and we're going into a boss fight that you're supposed to have met several times. There's kind of two bosses you encounter throughout the different levels. You have Edward Diego, who's turned into a cyborg, and as you beat him, he kind of grows stronger, comes back. And so we're going to fight one instance of him that we were supposed to have, seen him a couple times by now. And then the other one is what's known as a Cortex Reaver, which is like this giant mechanical spider-looking thing that we'll see here in a little bit. But I'm going to pop a Berserk, which allows us to do more melee damage, and when he spawns in, we're going to throw an EMP at him, which should shut him down. And then with Berserk and the Laser Rapier, we can just go to town, grab the keycard off his body, and that allows us to move on to the bridge.
Warning. Air pressure rapidly decreasing.
So yeah, the whole quest of this area is, like I said, blowing up the ship, blowing up the reactor, which is stuff that we don't actually do. We don't go and do those quest lines, but we get a little cutscene here with some great elevator music. So you can see the bridge at the area we're going to floating up away. The rest of the ship just explodes. And all we have left in the game is to go confront Shodan and cyberspace and deal with that. So we have to get to her and then actually fight her. So we need to go out of bounds once again. Depending on how you're actually trying to get out of bounds, sometimes you have to do multiple save loads to actually clip all the way through. And then the way to get back in bounds here is we're going to actually hit a teleporter from the underside of it. So that it instantly warps us up to the boss fight, not the Shodan boss fight, but the Cortex Reaver I was talking about before, that you're supposed to have seen a couple times by now. Here's the teleporter. You have to land on a very specific spot underneath it. Okay. Just gonna go up here, crouch, and then uncrouch, and it'll warp us right back in. We pop Berserk, so we do more melee damage. We're gonna pre-cook this grenade and throw it. So when the Reaver pops in, they get hit by it, and once again, just go into town, grab the keycard from the body. And we are off to cyberspace. So cyberspace is kind of like the hacking terminals throughout the game that you're supposed to go to. And you're in like a dogfighting spaceship kind of thing. And you use that to unlock doors and unlock areas. We never go to those in the run. We just bypass all of them. But this is what it looks like. But now we're in a first-person mode of it. And this is definitely the weakest part of the game casually. And the speedrun, there's not anything we can do to speed it up. It's not super interesting as a boss fight goes. There's going to be 3 platforms that we need to visit. And on each platform, there are 3 waves of shooting the giant crystal in the middle of the arena. You have to shoot it 6 times to progress it each time, so 18 shots per platform, 54 shots in total. And if you die, you just respawn on the platform. So you lose time, but you don't lose progression. So we're going to try our best to not die, shoot the crystal, and then the game's over. At least you get some cool music throughout here. So shout outs to the devs for making this game, and the OG devs as well for making the original System Shock and setting the groundwork for immersive sims. Shout outs to the devs that made the remake. But if we could get something to make this area a little bit more interesting, perhaps. I don't quite have the money to put a bounty on it, but if anyone is looking for a game to mess around with and find a potential skip for, I would love to have people look into the cyberspace fight here. It needs something. It's not a great area here. So we just gotta wait for this platform to move. Be visiting our first one. So most of the enemies don't really matter too much as we're going through here. You'll see giant purple ones. They are the most deadly. Their attack, it homes onto you and sticks on you and just will drain your health in an instant. So we have to step on this platform, which unlocks the crystal. And then once the crystal's gone, like the blue part of it, we can shoot it 6 times and it'll phase. So the purple one's off to my left there. A little scary. I don't really need to kill any of the enemies, but sometimes it's nice to take them out if they're going to find me. We just are trying not to die if we can help it. So we've done 2 phases. This is phase 3. If you're on these platforms and interacting with it, it can't kill you. Which is kind of nice, but they can still get aggressive. So as I'm trying to run away, they might drain my health. So that purple one is the most scary. But we got off the first platform. Got 2 more to go. This platform has a kind of unique enemy. It's like the upgraded version of the purple one. It's this giant orange guy. But if we position just right, he shouldn't be too big of a problem. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Those pink ones can be quite the menace. Alright, one more. One more phase and then one more platform. So there's the orange guy right there on the right. Oh yeah, they might actually kill me. Let's see if I can get away. No, okay. So we don't really lose any progression. We're still here. Kind of locked in place for a little bit. He killed me on the death platform. That's interesting. Now I'm just trying to go away again. Okay. 1 death, not too bad. We can roll with that. You also don't like auto regen health. There's no way to get that back. So if you take a lot of damage on one platform and run to the next, you can just get one tapped pretty easily. It's very hard to actually not die, at least once. Alright. Oh. Time coming up very soon once we get the animation after this platform. And this will have stopped Shodan. And we've saved the world until System Shock 2 happens. So if we die here anyways, it doesn't matter. That's the game. That is the System Shock remake in a nutshell. We've done it. We've hacked in. Saved the day. And if any point you want to learn this game, I will hopefully be making a tutorial in the next few days. Hopefully posted on my YouTube on Friday. If not, Hopefully by the weekends, I'll have it up. So you can learn all the time traveling shenanigans and how to do the out of bounds. It's not too bad of a run to learn, pretty short overall. You can get under 30 pretty quickly. But yeah, thank you guys for having me. You can find me on twitch.tv/BloodThunder if you want to watch me do runs of this live. Many other games I did Trepang 2 earlier in the night. Bioshocks, Doom, Wolfenstein, Amnesia, stuff like that. But yeah, if you want to go back and watch some previous runs, my previous record, don't have it anymore, or that tutorial, youtube.com/BloodThunder is the place to be. It's always fun to show off these games. Little shout outs to Night Dive Studio over there on the left. Back in New Atlanta, back in our apartment. And I think that's all I got for you guys. Thanks once again, X, for having me. And maybe we'll see this at a mainline GDQ soon.
Awesomely. Thank you once again for doing the run. It was pretty wild seeing you be able to break a System Shock. For anyone who plays this game casually, you probably know how difficult it really is. So, a fun watch there. As well, if anyone has not been able to check out BloodThunder, the links are in chat, so feel free to go ahead and do that. Anyway, we do have 2 more games for the night, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back. All right, everyone. Welcome back from the break. Hope you've been enjoying the show so far. It's been fun taking a look at some of these shooter games, and the next one's going to be a lot sillier. System Shock was the one of the original FPS games, especially looking at that as the remake, which is pretty fun. We're going to be hitting one that is quite charming and very silly. It's also been just kind of taking some of the speedrunning world by storm, so hope you enjoy it. Anyway, up next is My Friendly Neighborhood, featuring Yamajugo. Take it away.
Hey everyone, I'm Yama. This is My Friendly Neighborhood, like X said, but I have 2 people with me here, so if you guys want to also go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Zarian. I am a horror game speedrunner, and I dabble in other things as well.
Hi, my name is John, also known as Ducky. I am really not a speedrunner, but I did make the game that is being run right now. I think that's why I'm here.
Yes, that would be the biggest reason.
Well, it's not for the silky voice or the charm.
So, just a few things to point out for this game. It does have a built-in speedrun mode. That's why you see this timer here in the top right. And, yeah. So the category I'm running is no major glitches, which basically just means like no out of bounds and nothing major. So we'll go ahead and get this started. The timer will start once we select the difficulty. So I'll count it down before I select normal.
So Yama, I'm kind of curious. Is there any sort of major differences between the difficulties here?
So unfriendly definitely changes the item layouts and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think you die in 2 hits instead of normally like 3 or 4. I'm not sure so much for the other ones, but yeah. We'll go ahead and count down with 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
So now we're
job of the day.
in the game.
What's this one about?
This initial paper we pick up is basically just telling us what we're doing. I'm not great at describing story stuff, but our name is Gordon. We're kind of like a repairman sent here to shut down this studio because the channel is playing over news channels and other stuff like that. For anyone that has played the game casually, you might notice this is not usually how you start the game. There's a hidden button in the garage you saw me press, and basically opens up an alternate path where you skip going to the lobby and taking the key card and just anything else there. And we get to go straight to the blue key room down this hall.
And just to point out, we actually, for quite a while, we actually didn't know that button existed.
Yeah.
So the game got quite a reroute once we found it.
That's amazing.
So you're gonna see me do this first. It's not really a trick, but a strat that one of our members of the community found, Demented Salad. Well, he didn't really find it, but he remembered it from his casual playthrough and told everyone about it, basically. So if you hit an enemy with the wrench when they're not paying attention to you, you instantly stagger them. Where once they notice you, they kind of have a RNG stagger amount or HP as well. So that actually saves a ton of time in this run after that was found.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the funny thing about that was actually implemented fairly last moment, within the last like month or two of development, and you know the other mechanics for the wrench had been in for quite a while at that point. Because I was watching some people play at PAX, and I saw somebody do that, and they didn't even realize that it hadn't happened. But I was thinking, goodness gracious, I am pretty sure that they thoroughly expected that if they hit a puppet without them noticing, it would do something extra. I think I need to put that in like immediately. Kind of glad to hear that it's, you know, something that's useful in the speedrunning sense. I always try to keep that in mind as much as possible.
One thing I also wanted to mention is you saw me go up the stairs and kind of like not take the intended path to get the orange key, where I was kind of like walking on a ledge. And that's not considered a major glitch. You're not really skipping anything other than, you know, going up an extra set of stairs and flipping a lever to open the gate there. But it does save some time. Okay, Norman might grab me here. Okay, fortunately he didn't.
Nice. And I just wanted to point out how actually important the wrench is to the route after we found that out. So enemies in this game, they have randomized health, and I'll just put that simply, it's randomized health. So with the shotgun, that's not too much to worry, but if he had to shotgun every enemy, he would run into ammo issues, and we need about 9 shots at the end for the final boss. So being able to utilize the wrench when they are not paying attention to you and save those shots is actually very important for the run.
Yeah.
On that note, one of the reasons that I put the wrench in the first place was after watching speedruns of the demo specifically, I noticed that randomization reset a lot of runs early on, that health randomization. And for a demo, you know, it was like an hour-long demo casually. So, you know, for a 10-minute, 7-minute speedrun, that doesn't matter. But I was thinking for the full game, that's going to be awful, right? And so one of the reasons I wanted to put the wrench in the first place was to kind of level the playing field for all that health randomization a little bit, so you don't have to be quite as stingy with the ammo and everything like that.
I've actually had to use a lot more shotgun ammo here than normal, so I am going to have to pick up some extra. That's Norman. That's where you would actually encounter your first puppet pretty much casually. You see him slamming into the door, and you would go over there and, well, assuming you don't recognize him as an enemy, he's probably going to grab you.
Yeah, if you don't take the alternate path that we did, if you missed the button like all of us did a lot, you would go into that room and actually get your first weapon, which would be a pistol. I can't remember the exact name of it in the game, but that would be your first weapon.
All right.
Yeah. That got totally skipped, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, so as far as this run goes, the only weapons we will be using are the shotgun, the wrench, and you will see a weapon called the punctuation later on, which is basically a grenade.
And when he dropped her right there, he taped her up, which is by using the item duct tape. The reason he's doing that is because we actually have to come back this way. So by utilizing that duct tape, we save shoddy shots later on. It's just a good way to preserve ammo more.
Yeah, so if anyone's familiar with like Resident Evil 1, where you have the little, the flask, and you burn the zombies in order to make them not spawn back as Crimson Heads later, it's pretty similar, except they don't really evolve. You would just have to waste more ammo.
Also, as a really quick just note for people in chat, definitely play the game casually if you want to see like the full effect of some of the charm. Like we skipped one of the guns that we're talking about, and I can't stress this enough. It's literally like a pistol with 26 bullets, and every letter is the alphabet. But
yeah, this game is extremely charming. Extremely charming.
Thanks.
Yes.
Appreciate that. And then like the letters that it fires, like it just fires the letters.
So this right here is actually kind of tricky. You have, yeah, I was gonna get grabbed if I missed the candy. You have almost no time to grab that candy bar. You have to take it almost immediately to avoid a grab, but it's okay. I am picking up some safety heals just in case. Getting hit once doesn't really affect that much, fortunately.
It's fascinating to see how the micro pathing and stuff in the rooms is so different in the full game than it was from the demo. I did run the demo myself for a couple weeks, and I mean, your pathing is obviously just going to be better than mine was in general. But even in small ways, I'm noticing like there's different movements that are happening just because of small changes that we had to make for visuals and stuff. It's really interesting to me to see that.
Yeah, which, thanks to the demo, is what actually made me, like, I was looking forward to this game for so long. So you'll notice the candy bar I picked up. What candy bars do, if you can't tell already, is they basically double your speed, or maybe even more. I don't know the exact speed increase. Don might have some insight on that, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's very numbers based, but it's a linear speed increase. I think it's about, if you eat like 3 of them, I think it would be approximately double, if I remember correctly, or 2 would be approximately double. It's right in that range.
But the reason we save it instead of just eating it right away is they only last 3 room transitions. So it lasts the room you're in and then 3 rooms after. And so we eat the candy bar in pretty specific places where we have like a lot of, you know, like big rooms to go through. That way it speeds up, you know, save more time for going through the bigger rooms faster.
Yeah, we were just talking beforehand. I want there to be like at least some plausibility to stacking the candy bars as part of the run. But right now, getting the candy bars actually takes more time than the utility of stacking them. So one thing I might investigate is doing some very, very light changes to kind of expedite getting the candy bars, just to make it like a possibility. It doesn't need to become like a dominant strat or anything, but I like having the ability to play around with things like that, you know?
Right.
And
whoops, I am walking.
And just to point out, we do get candy bars naturally throughout the run because they do spawn in static places. What he is more referring to is that there is a candy bar machine inside the lobby of the hotel. You all did not see us go in the hotel because he skips that now with clicking the secret button. There is a candy bar machine that costs 1 coin, which you can find naturally throughout the run. You can get about 6 candy bars in the beginning of the game, but the time investment is not worth actually getting them at the moment.
Right, and what you're seeing me do now is I'm basically going back around all the places of the map now that I got the key from the maintenance hall, and basically we have to go pick up fuses from these lock boxes in order to open the big vault looking door. I'm not really sure exactly what it's called, but you will see
big vault looking door. Yeah. Sounds great to me. Yeah.
I thought so too. We're gonna get a pretty common key item in a lot of horror games that most of you will probably recognize immediately. We are getting the last fuse here. Then we have to put them in a specific order. Normally you'd have to read the notes that come with the fuses to figure out the order, but you know, since we've done it plenty of times, we know it immediately.
The order for placing the fuses has also changed because of a breaker box placement change. I was waiting to see if it was going to be the same as the demo. It's not. That's really funny.
Yeah, so if you guys missed the key item, which hopefully you didn't, it is the notorious bolt cutters that you will see in so many horror games. I don't really know what did it first, but of course Resident Evil always comes to mind. For me, anyways.
I mean, almost certainly it was Resident Evil, right? I don't know the answer to that question either, but it's gotta be.
So we had to use that to cut one door, and then this is the other door. So we're now about to transition to the next section of the game, which is the office building.
This must be the elevator Ricky was
After we take this elevator. And
good run so far, Yama. It's going really well.
Yeah, this is pretty good. Aside from not taking the candy bar fast enough, that's the only hit so far.
Yeah.
Don't jinx him for the board game.
So,
I'll jinx
we
him
say it's
all I
going well
want.
after the board game.
I'm sitting here on my dev copy typing away little values to mess him up as late as possible, right?
Oh god.
So this is, well, okay. I got hit by the pig. Actually, I can take an emergency heal in the save room as well with a coin. I'll go ahead and do that after I sort my inventory. So we have to get rid of a bunch of stuff here. All these key items, we don't really need them anymore. We have to pick up this mask, and I will take this coin and just heal, just to save my healing items in case the board game is not kind. The board game is pretty much the biggest reset point in runs. It is completely RNG. You can get a bad hand, you can get a good hand, and Norman can get a better hand. Like,
you can just lose.
Yeah.
There's actually some parts where you, no matter how good you play, the hand you were dealt and the hand he was dealt, you can just lose.
And
I can confirm, by the way, that Norman does have the ability to cheat. Just so you know.
Yes, we know. He's a cheater.
I'll elaborate on the board game a little bit more once we get there. But for now, what we're doing is we need to pick up all these mask key items. And what I'm waiting here just a little bit to hopefully spare myself a shotgun shell. If you wait long enough, Norman and the taxi guy at the top will cross and start going down the stairs. If you go too early, Norman will turn around and you'll have to waste a shotgun shell on him there. I'm also gonna take is the heal here. I think. Let me make sure. I'm just taking these just in case the board game goes awful. Normally you would not pick up these items, but I don't want to take any chances with Norman because sometimes he is very unfriendly.
Yeah, and just to point out the lethality of board game. If he dies there, he has to restart from the beginning of the elevator. It would restart this whole section.
Yep, meaning I have to go get all the mask again, pick up all the same items like you're seeing me do right now. And yeah, it's just, you don't want to do that. So there's another slight, I guess you could call it a glitch here that we allow for this category, where we can grab the mask like that. I wanted to get this too, but it's not being kind. I saw it for a second. You can actually grab this chest piece without opening the door as well. It seems to be a little more precise.
You know what's really frustrating about this, Yama? I was aware of this bug before release, and I was like, oh, you know, I should probably patch that for like casual playthroughs and everything. I could not reproduce it. So I was like, it's got to be some sort of like weird fringe error or something. No, I just, you know, never was able to do it, of course.
Yeah, I'm not even sure who found that one, but here's the notorious board game.
Maybe I'll give it a shot.
This hand kind of looks okay. I might misplay it, I'm not gonna lie. I'll try my best.
Ooh, that's rough.
But basically, if you land on a Norman tile, you draw a card. You land on the purple tile, you can only play a 1. You land on a yellow tile, you have to play a card from the deck. And yeah, so...
Oh, nice.
This is looking like... So if I play a 3, I'll land on the green tile, which will instantly make me take damage and I have to replay the game.
Yeah,
so we're gonna have
you're
to
in for the RNG.
RNG with Junebug and hope she doesn't play a 1. We got a 1.
No!
So,
of course, it's always a 1.
Basically, if this were a real run, that would pretty much be an immediate reset because you lose way too much time having to play the board game over.
Just to be the irritating dev for a second, I will say that I did place that Junebug and Goblet face right at the end there specifically to try to force having a moment of RNG at the end, because I did not necessarily want a casual player to be able to just like one and done the board game.
Yeah, this one isn't looking so good either.
No, not at all.
Well, this is why I did pick up some safety heals. Norman won that one. So now you can see, I'm going to go ahead and take one of my heals. I can go get another one from the previous room should I need it. I was hoping we wouldn't get such bad RNG. These hands are not being kind.
Ouch. Yeah, this
these
is
hands
really
are being
rough.
really bad.
So one other thing that I don't know if it was intentional, maybe you can tell us. Yeah, I cheated. Whoops. You actually cannot quit out of the board game at all.
Oh man, yours hands
Yeah,
are...
I'm getting like
This is
terrible
abnormally
hands.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, this is not normal.
This is not normal at all. It is intentional to not be able to quit out of the board game because I want to have people feel the consequences of their bad decisions in how they play their cards.
I thought so.
Yeah, and there is also a bit of like not a technical challenge, but there's like extra concern and bugs that can come from just like exiting out of this integrated system.
Well, Norman,
no.
This is not going great.
Man. There's so many
This is
slots.
going very bad.
Well, I have more heals, so we can try this quite a few more times, especially if I go back in the other room to get more heals.
This is not bad.
That's much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were telling me in the green room before beginning that the board game can go bad, and I did not realize the board game can go bad. And
It can go very bad.
I
yes.
didn't even know you could swap you.
Yeah. It's pretty normal. You ever play Candyland and, you know, your friends don't slap you?
I don't normally get slapped for playing Candyland.
I think you're forced.
I kind of
you
want to
could draw.
Okay, it didn't help.
Oh, it wasn't worth it.
All right.
It wasn't worth it.
Well, we're going with RNG Junebug again. I guess.
Please. This is not.
Okay.
This is insane.
Norman is very unfriendly for this run.
Hey, here's something that might help for future runs. The cards are constant. Like, it's not like random cards that are being drawn from the deck. There is like a set amount of each one of them that get shuffled in. And so if you see a lot of ones appearing early on, the chance of top decking one on the Junebug is quite a bit smaller.
I see. I was not aware of anything like that. Okay, well, we have 3 ones again.
Hey, coming into play, I'm telling you.
Yeah. This is looking great.
Okay, do Junebug. I don't think there's any ones left. Seriously. Unless it reshuffles the deck.
Okay. We made it.
Great work.
Can't believe you have to count cards.
Yeah, so you guys could definitely see why Norman is... I do not like Norman. Norman and I do not get along a lot.
I feel a little bad, but honestly, at the same time, you're the one that decided to run the game. This is your fault.
Honestly,
I think
it's-
casually it is nice.
Yeah, for sure, casually. It's honestly only a pain for the run. It is not even... It was not even a problem like that, casually. So, it's probably honestly funnier that we were able to show it off how bad it can go.
That was pretty hilarious.
That was probably one of the worst RNG I've ever had with the board game. So now you're seeing, well, I messed up my inputs, but you're seeing where we put the mask. You're supposed to read the puzzle and, you know which character to put the mask on, but we already know. And so now we're getting dice, and we have to make our way back to that same room where we just had our encounter with Norman.
Oh, nice to skip the stair collider.
Yep. Slight little, I don't really know what to call those, like ledge walk or something, but take the shotgun shells in here.
Is fast stairs still possible in the full game? I haven't checked.
It is, and because of like Resident Evil, I think we kind of just dubbed it like stair skating.
Stair skating, yeah.
I'm not 100% certain. It seems like it's faster, but with some timing, some people, including Zarian, have said that maybe it's not.
Interesting.
I need to clear some room.
Yeah. So the thing he's referring to, stair skating, is if you look slightly to the right and you hold the WA, you start going down the stairs slow, but then it seems like it looks faster because you do speed up down the stairs. But I think what it is, and I could be wrong on this, but I think what it is the animation is catching up with itself, and that's why it seems faster, but there is a slight delay before it even starts happening. That makes it about the same time, at least from my timings.
So I haven't looked into it. This is just off the top of my head. What I would imagine is happening is it is legitimately faster in the points in which your character is not in the I hit the ground part of the animation, but once they quote unquote hit the ground again, that's when Gordon makes a sort of noise.
Yeah.
It calls a little thing to like slow down his maximum speed for a very brief amount of time, and because that's happening continuously, it might actually end up evening out to being about the same.
Yeah.
See, I don't know that much about the technicality of it. I just see things that go fast and I use it. That's basically.
Yama's the executor.
I'm just taking that heal there since I am in caution, just in case. I'm going to go ahead and use it. I should be pretty safe for the rest of the run. Like I said, the board game is the biggest problem because every time you fail the game, he slaps you, and I did not take the key, I don't think, or did I? I don't remember.
I think you got it.
The point in the game he's at right now, he just actually went up to the office and grabbed the key.
Okay.
To exit the area.
Right.
So this is the end of the area. He's just got a little boss to fight now.
You're going to see our first boss of the game. Goodbye, boss.
So yeah, the mines in this game are extremely strong.
Come on, man. That took me like weeks to make.
Yeah. So casually, that is actually supposed to be a somewhat stressful boss fight because it really does normally take a lot of resources.
Casually.
It takes a ton of your ammo because basically you're trying to like shoot each eye with your pistol or your shotgun, and meanwhile the enemy is actually spitting out puppets at you, like it's just spitting out duplicates of Norman at you, along with sometimes spawning the smaller minion puppets. And
normally
yeah, so but if you wait just long enough after the yell that the boss does, throwing 2 grenades will pretty much instantly kill it. If you throw the grenade just a little too early, for some reason some of the damage doesn't take to it, and you'll have to use like 1 shotgun shell to finish it off.
So you want to kind of explain what you're doing at this part now?
Yeah. So you guys didn't see in the very beginning, but if you went in the hotel lobby, or not the hotel, the office lobby in the very beginning, like you're intended to, there's an elevator there. Okay, well, Gordon tries to use the elevator, but there's somebody's grimace shake spilled all over the door, and you can't use the elevator. So we're basically trying to get these ingredients to make a solvent to clear that off the door so we can use that elevator.
You know, you spend 2.5 years of your life working on a game, you put all these things in place, and then you just happen to release it right around the time that the Grimace Shake is a popular meme, and guess what happens?
I'm messing this up. This actually, oh, I had it. I didn't. This only saves time if you do it on the first try. I'm really goofing it. I just wanted to show this. You can basically do some little collision there, walking on ledges to just skip right over the fridge, instead of having to go around. With as long as that took me, it would have cost time, but I just felt like showing it off.
Yeah, there's not too many non-major glitches in the run that we can really show off, so it's nice to see what we do have.
That's our first ingredient. I forgot exactly what the ingredients are. I could check the note just to see, but maybe...
Well, that is trumpet polish.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
It is trumpet polish, film development, and weed killer. Film developer. My mistake. Film developer.
Do not mix these at home trying to make a solvent.
Yes, please.
Assuming you have these in the first place.
I want to note really quick that category-wise, there is obviously a standard any percent, but for the show here, I wanted no major glitches because I know just watching some of these runs, any percent has a trick that's not very fun, and it's also just you don't get to see as much of the game.
Right.
Very true. Yeah, you skip quite a lot in any percent.
So any percent, you basically skip the first, you basically skip to this exact mission that I'm doing right now. You basically skip the entire first 2 sections of the game and you go straight into making this solvent for the elevator door, pretty much.
Yeah, that is a very unfortunate thing. At some point, I'm going to have a discussion with the community about whether that needs to be changed for the health of any percent, because I do think it kind of, I don't know, it makes any percent just a much less interesting category to watch. I don't know. Anyway, that's something that we should talk about at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, well, just to point out now that you mentioned that, any percent before we actually found the out of bounds to those things, any percent was pretty much no major glitches. Everything he's doing here was pretty much the any percent route already. So yeah, just to point that out.
Yeah. That might, honestly, that might be a good enough reason to not change it, just to keep the categories distinct.
Okay, the dog might grab me. Yeah, that's okay though. So you can actually walk around the ledge of the playhouse and avoid it entirely, which is what I was trying to do, but I messed it up at first and it kind of just makes it a little harder to get it the second time. It doesn't really save time, it just makes it completely safe that you won't get touched by the dog.
So you guys probably know this. There's a really gnarly out of bounds that you can do off of that same sort of glitch off of the playground there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's used in any percent.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Yep. So, as a matter of fact, you actually have to do that out of bounds twice, and then go over to the aviary section out of bounds, and then clip back inbounds over there. So yeah, it's a trip. You have to do that twice.
So he's still just kind of running around and grabbing these things we need for the solvent.
Yep.
I believe
that was the last
thing, right?
Right there. So now we have to go back into the garden house or pump house. I forgot exactly what it's called, but basically we need to go back there. There's a mixing station for all these ingredients.
I'd be really interested to know how much of the pathing varies for full game versus, especially in the garden area here, for full game versus no major glitches. Because I was just noticing there, like picking up the aviary medallion, which is in that safe. For anybody that doesn't know, that Yama just passed, that would probably completely mess with your inventory management.
Yeah. So I'm not 100% certain. When you say full game, do you mean any percent or?
Full game meaning like getting all the puppet quests and everything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can technically get into the aviary section without the medallions.
I'm so not surprised to hear that.
Well, kind of. It's not so much getting in the aviary section itself, it's going through the aviary section to get back inbound. But maybe it's not exactly the same. But
because you out of bounds on the playground and then come in through the back, right?
Right.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And just point out, he did do. It's not just putting in the materials for the solvent. He did do a puzzle there.
Yeah.
Normally you read a little thing, but we don't need to read because it's slow, so we don't do that. He just he knows what he needs to do.
It basically just tells you to push each button for a very specific amount of time.
There's an elevator.
But here's the elevator with the grimace shake in question.
You know, one release week. You wait one more week and nobody thinks about it, right?
So now we're in the penthouse section of the game, which is basically the final section. I should be completely safe, but I'm just going to take this heal just in case I make some major screw ups somehow. Shouldn't be a problem, but you know, just for safety.
Drive me crazy.
So these sections are like a series of different puzzles within rooms. We take an extra candy bar there. So, if you look on this wall, there's a bunch of instructions, but none of that matters for us. We basically put stuff where we know it needs to go. We leave the room, come back in, everything's fixed. And
yeah, so there's a lot of really fast menuing here. You all might not be able to keep up, but yeah.
So basically, you're supposed to be waiting, and you're kind of like making ingredients. You turn milk into a banana, you cook soup, and you microwave a tomato to turn it into hot sauce. If you put it in the fridge, and then usually wait 5 seconds, it turns into a key, which you need for that other room. It's basically a fake key, so you can take the real key, so you can open these chests. And we need to collect 4 puzzle pieces.
I'm really glad to see all of the recipe shortcuts being used there, like cutting the milk to get banana.
I didn't know if that was intended or not.
It actually was, and it was specifically so people could find shortcuts with it. Even the same thing with like having the cans cook. If you go out of the door and come back in instead of having to wait for it. Because those are all things that I was like, yeah, probably wouldn't be very interesting to have somebody just sit there for 20 seconds. You know, let's just make it do that instead, because it's still very reasonable for that to work that way, but then makes it better for people who are trying to do things quickly, like the speedrunning community and stuff, you know?
So he also did just do a puzzle there where you have to click paintings in a specific order, and the game also tells you at some point how to do that.
Yep.
That was a good shotgun shot.
That was a really good shotgun shot.
Yeah, so the letters bounced off the wall and got 2 more at the bottom.
I always try to aim a little bit to the right of the guy, because usually you'll always get the rest of them. Not every time, but most of the time. But here you'll see another little thing. This is mostly just for fun. Say bye to the inventory. But
it does help to know where your soda is also.
So we picked up a soda from that drink machine. You're going to see what it does in a second. It's basically a candy bar, but like a mega candy bar.
Yeah. It is quite a bit quicker than a candy bar.
So now we're climbing the ladder from Metal Gear Solid 3. I think it's 3 anyway. I could be wrong, but... Woo! So this will take a hot minute. We're kind of just like... I mean, I wish I could look up actually, but we're climbing... This is supposed to be the story point where you're getting to where your actual goal was. You're climbing up this antenna and you're gonna shut down the signal and, you know, finish your job and go home. But you'll see very shortly that, of course, things don't go exactly as planned.
And just to point out, the soda that he got was the yellow soda, which does make you faster. If you do decide to get this game and play this game, which I'd definitely recommend you do, it's very charming. Test out the other sodas. The other sodas also do some things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know what every soda does. I do know the purple one gives you like insane reload speed and like shooting speed. I think the green one makes you have squeaky voice. I think.
It does.
So this is the unfriendly neighborhood also.
So here's the final boss. We kill him in a very specific way. I have extra shotgun ammo, so it's not too bad. You need 4 grenades and 9 shotgun shells exactly to kill this guy. And that's the final boss.
Neato.
So another thing to note with that is when you flip the switch after you kill the boss, the gate comes down faster. You can actually escape without fighting the boss, which some of the earlier runs had to do that. For the record, time will be once we exit this and select yes when the cutscene pops up. So on the selection of yes. So that's the time. And I will skip all the cutscene stuff because, well, actually, I guess we can let the song play at least. The song is pretty good.
The song is very good.
Our composer spent so much time on this. Yes, let's let the song play out for his sake.
The song is awesome.
Yeah, just since the credits are playing, I would like to give a shout out to the dev team who worked incredibly hard on this game, and I'm very grateful to everybody. And I could, go on about each person on the list here, but I will just say in general, I'm really proud of everything that they've done, and I'm really thankful that they decided to come on the project.
Yeah, for sure. This game is awesome. It does not disappoint, and I seriously suggest it to anyone. If you even remotely like this run, do yourself a favor and play it casually. It is a seriously awesome experience.
Yeah. You didn't even get to experience from this run the amount of amazing voice acting that goes into this game and the absolute charm that comes out of it. I definitely recommend it.
I think I ended early.
Well, thank you. That's much appreciated.
Yeah.
Here's the results screen. 3240, S+. There are rankings. It's pretty much...
Wow, look at that. Look at the S+ clipping on top of press any button. The devs sure are stupid, aren't they?
All right, though. So, Yama, if anyone wanted to find you on Twitch and watch more just of you doing anything, where can they find you?
Yeah, so you can find me at twitch.tv/Yamajugo, same name you see on screen. You can find me on YouTube at Yamajugo, same thing, and on Twitter if you just want updates on general stuff and what I'm doing.
All right, and then for all of you in general, I know we had one already, but any more shout-outs you'd like to give or anything you want to just mention?
The speedrun community for this game, obviously for finding stuff and being active and I guess friendly. Funny enough. Shout outs to them and Darian as well for commentating for me, and John for joining as well as a special dev guest. So if you'd like to shout yourself out, Darian.
Yeah, sure. You can find me at Azarian, XER1AN on Twitch. Just do some speedrunning from here and there.
And I do a lot of horror. I'm still relatively new to speedrunning, and funny enough, I'm kind of making a trend where my speedrun games seem to be silly horror. But yeah.
That's a nice niche to fit into. Yeah.
But I think that's all I have to say so far.
Yeah, I just urge if anybody is interested in the game, go check it out on Steam. You can find me on Twitter. If you can spell my last name, then congratulations. It's Ducky_Szymanski. And that's all I've got to shout out on my end.
All right. Thank you all for the run here. It was fun to watch, and it was fun just to showcase this to the general GDQ Hotfix audience.
Yeah. Thank you for having us,
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you very much. Love being here.
Thank you.
All right, and once again, if you have not checked them out, you can find Yamajugo. The link is in Twitch chat as well. We've mentioned a few times, so go ahead and do that if you want to watch more silly horror games. Anyway, we do have one more run for you tonight, so we will be right back very quick. Don't go anywhere. All right, everyone, welcome back from the break. We had a lot of fun games on, a lot of fun shooting, and one not shooting game. But as a personal way of just kind of celebrating the new GDQ show block of Speedruns From the Crypt being with aimbot, I thought personally I would play one of my favorite shooters for you and kind of show you a neat area of speedrunning you don't always get to see. That being said, the question might come up, how do you speedrun a rail shooter? Also, while you might recognize this game if you've been to any arcade in the recent years, or yeah, just know about House of the Dead stuff. House of the Dead 4 is in a lot of arcades, and surprisingly enough, you actually can speedrun rail shooters. For anyone who does not know, this is a PlayStation 3 port. It is always kind of odd on having these, but yeah, we're going to be speedrunning House of the Dead 4. And I tell them to begin shortly. We don't begin time until actually the second cutscene skip. There's a few cutscenes in the beginning, but this will be a fun way of looking at a game genre you don't normally get to look at. Anyway, time can begin in, let's see here. Slow takes longer than expected. 3, 2, 1, go. Alrighty, so there's a few ways of doing this. If you have a PlayStation Move, you can actually use that. However, I like using this just because I don't have a whole lot of space. You know, easier said than done. A lot of text will be pretty simple. You know, shoot in the head, they are dead. Body shots do work, but, you know, headshots can be pretty optimal. Now, for speedrunning a game like this, normally it's just going to be knowing where people are spawning in. Also, I'm taking damage. It's really not too huge of a deal. There's going to be a lot of intentional damage throughout the run. Another weird thing about this is the PlayStation 3 actually lets you use other controllers. We can't do that because you need to be on a PlayStation 3 controller because it's something called 6-axis, which is really kind of awkward. I actually tried using PlayStation 4 controller on this before, and what ended up happening is you can't do the shaking, which is absolutely necessary for a lot of the game's mechanics. They cannot use a certain gun. Also, the first level doesn't have a lot of tutorial-based things. They say use the grenade. We're not going to do that. We're actually going to be saving grenades. There we go. Neat thing about this as well is while I can shoot the people upon spawning in, you can't get them early. This is going to come very in handy later because some enemies are going to be like spawn. Also, we're going to be going left. Some enemies are going to be spawning in, and you can't actually get them until they are like fully spawned in. It's kind of a weird like thing. Like you can see there, that guy wasn't taking any damage. The moment they are fully kind of within the map, they'll decide to take damage. It is a pretty neat quirk as to why that happens. I'm not entirely sure, but it's probably just so you can't do too much of that. Also, every now and again, you get knocked down to the ground once you kill an enemy. There we go. Alright, so far so good. I also noticed I have not really used any grenades yet. We'll be using some in a moment. After these guys, I'm also going to be grabbing a 4th grenade. So right in there. Shoot, you get an item. Pretty simple. Now I have 4 grenades. So, I'm actually saving a lot of my grenades for the upcoming boss fight. Every level's gonna have a boss fight. It makes sense. There we go. Also, different enemy types as we go. Level 1 is pretty simple enemies, standard zombies, and the little jumper guys, which are actually pretty difficult for like the first level. But I'm actually saving my grenades to right here. Awkward thing as well is, depending on how grenades work, sometimes you'll hit a bunch of zombies, sometimes you won't. But I hit enough where I can just easily go through that. We're also almost on the boss side. Also, neat thing about this game is since you have the Uzi, you can just kind of hold down the button and move around and just keep reloading. It's pretty simple and makes for a nice way of having more seamless gameplay. I like running House of the Dead 4 because it doesn't mess with my hands just nice. Anyway, now we have the first boss. Shoot the blue weak point, makes a lot of sense. And this is why I've been saving grenades. This guy has a very particular attack to where while you can shoot the body, he's into this thing where he covers his face with his hands fully. When you see that, that is a classic token-eating attack. So if you let it go through, it will eat a hit, and it's one of those mean arcade hits. So I'm actually going to cook a grenade right now. He usually does on the second one. There it is. I'm going to chuck it immediately. All right, he helped us down. That phase is done. This is why I've been saving all these grenades. During boss fights, it's very convenient to just have that. He's doing it again, so we'll do it again. I'm going to have one more normal phase, and then I should be able to finish him off with total grenades. Here we go. Also, fun fact about House of the Dead games in general. If you shoot any part of the body, for the most part, you can actually sneak in more chip damage. You don't always have to shoot in the main thing. You can often just shoot anything. Anyway, boss is now... Oh, it ate my grenade. I love that. Thank you, game. Very cool. Anyway, you get to see the hit I'm talking about. There it is. There's the hit. You know what? It worked out. He's dead. Fully intended, right? All right, we did it. And then you get the fun celebration music each time. Anyway, I'm trying to keep my hands up because very often one of the things about this is seeing the controller going. Also, since this is like standard 90% category, the game's gonna like insult you at the end of every chapter. That's just how arcade machines work. Alright, so this level is going to show a lot more of something that obviously is present in a lot of House of the Dead games, but is going to make a lot more sense here, or be more apparent here. Because we had one choice in the last area, either up or down. We didn't really get to see too much on the deviation of routes. This level is really going to make you feel the routing. Also, an important thing to note is per level, we're actually going to be getting full grenade refreshes. So it's never worth it to save 3 grenades per level. You almost always want to be using them like whenever you can. However, right now I'm actually in a really risky spot. I kind of mentioned taking damage isn't a huge deal. Obviously, me playing at home, I have a lot more credits to use. I don't have to worry about throwing in coins to get more lives. I can kind of just play as... Oh, that's unfortunate. Not the end of the world, though. I do lose one thing off that strat, but this level is luckily not too contingent on it. But taking damage is actually nice sometimes, because what will happen is, 1, these games have built-in DA. 2, these games also have grenade refreshes. So, if you're actually playing it very optimally there, you'd be able to use all your grenades, take a hit immediately, and then have 3 more grenades. On a boss like that, it would make a lot of sense. Also, tiny enemies like worms are just too... Okay, so we had 1 route deviation with the valve, which brings us to this side, and now we're taking the pipes. The pipes are slightly faster, but a little bit riskier. A big thing to note here is that I talked about this earlier, and this is what's coming up now. So these guys, you can't actually shoot them till they get up. Taking a hit there is fine, because I do want to be a little bit lower later. I'm not going to take too many more hits. I'm going to cook 1 grenade right now. There's going to be 2 guys right there. Make sure the barrels don't hit me. There we go. DA is difficulty adjustment. Many games have it. It's very famously known in Resident Evil titles, but they also exist in House of the Dead, as weird as that sound. The general idea is the worse you do, the nicer the game will be. This could be like game overs, taking hits, and the like. For House of the Dead games, the one that it's most apparent in is actually typing of the dead. And I'm not sure why. It's probably just so the player feels better about, like, oh, you're not doing so hot. What if we made the game a little bit easier for you? Luckily for us, we can actually use that for advantage during certain times. All right, so far so good here. Grenades are usually good during big hordes. Like right here, we can probably just pop a grenade. It's kind of a feelings-based thing. You can also get one in a moment here. It's not so bad. I like doing it on these 2 guys just because it's pretty rough. Also, I eat another hit in moments. Just fine. But it's kind of weird that some rooms don't work. Like this room, it's not good to use a grenade because you just wait. You can pop them all with that barrel right there. As well, some bosses are nicer than others. Like, the first boss really susceptible to grenades. This next boss, you're almost never going to hit him. I'm not sure why the bosses have different grenade hit values, but they do. Also, neat thing you can do, you can just shoot the guy, load the door, and then, hey, look, good to go. Alright, a little bit more. Alright, there you go. Okay, now we're on the second boss after these 2 guys. This is going to be a pretty simple spider boss in a moment here. Also, it's kind of weird that every boss begins with the really shaking QTE. I think they just really liked that feature and wanted to add it in. You'll see what I'm talking about in a moment. Oh, so you can just like pre-shake this and it goes really fast. I don't know if it's meant to go that fast, it probably is, but either way, boss time. Instead of being blue, now he's red. This is kind of why you're not going to be getting any grenade hits here. He is kind of in an elevator shaft, and if you can manage to throw a grenade down an elevator shaft, I would be massively impressed with hitting him. I don't think I almost ever hit him. Hopefully we don't eat any hits here really, but I do want to keep that 1 hit for the next level pretty well. Okay. Getting some nice chip damage there. Also, just general House of the Dead fact, chip damage is your friend. You can see he hasn't even opened up yet. I already have a quarter of his health down. A lot of people just really rely on the wait for it moments. But always be shooting. I guess it fits quite well with the whole aimbot theme of the night, huh? Alright. We're on the final phase. It's just this kind of like door opening. You can't hit him if it's closed, so I'd say that's time to reload. And second boss down. Also, fun general House of the Dead fact, all the bosses are named after tarot cards. It's just kind of neat. Although I don't remember all their names. I have them written down normally, but I think they tell you at the very beginning of the fight. I don't know, I just love the House of the Dead series. There's a whole community of runners for all these games, and they all have their neat tech, and it just kind of neat that rail shooters can be sped around. Alrighty, so the last level, grenades didn't really matter. This level, they absolutely matter. So I gotta be very careful not to waste any. Gonna have a lot of just particular spawns, quick ones, but like... same general deal that we've been dealing with these guys. I'm gonna take a moment to actually wait and then just toss. Very quick dispatch. These guys always pop out. Pretty easy kills though. We're not gonna be hitting something kind of interesting, where if you do it properly, you actually can kill these guys a little bit earlier. And by the time you get up the stairs, they just are down, which obviously really good there. I guess the neat thing as well is that for the most part, these guys will only last as long as they are on the screen. So obviously the faster you kill, the faster you go. As well, I don't want to get dragged in this room, so we're going to win the tug of war here and just take them out immediately. Also, point game if you want to get points. They have no value in the speedrun, but you can spam it out. I like how that grenade whipped entirely. Anyway, neat strategy now. Obviously, as the game progresses, we end up getting more and more different types of enemies. For the axe enemies, they'll block headshots. You may notice I've kind of been going for headshots the entire time. Headshots are not going to be working for me now. So for these guys, the ones holding the axes, I want to make sure I am nailing either a very tricky headshot or a body shot. Body shots do plenty of damage as well on these two particularly, so make sure I get that. Anyway, now it's time for a speedrun faster route. It's kind of like, oh, you have the fighting route and the safe route. We're taking the fighting route. The reason why is because if you can get this properly, you can actually get a lot of damage done. So we're going to start fighting a little bit early. And the whole goal here is win the hordes. Kind of hoping this guy will do some damage. Hold my grenades back. Thank you. Because this is going to be 2 giant waves of enemies. So after these 3, we're going to be going for the next one. Let's make sure we just nail it down there. That's a lot better for what I want. And you kind of see our grenades are kind of coming in handy right now. Also, look, light. You don't need it, but, I mean, it's there. A good thing about this game as well is that all the spawns are very just consistent with the game's drops. If you open certain boxes, they will always have the item that is corresponded to that. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, please be health, please be health. No, you'll always have health there. One of the only downsides about House of the Dead 4 is that this game does not have the saving of survivors for health. So it's a little bit unfortunate, but you get health at the end of every stage if you're doing fine. More of a casual thing than a speedrun thing, but still one of those general quality of lives. Anyway, this boss is definitely one of the casual filters, the token eaters. Arcade railgun shooters always have the ones that are particularly mean that are supposed to get you as cheap hits, so end up getting hit. This is one of the meanest hits in the series, because you'll start shooting him, he'll always throw items at you, and you're just not expecting that, because like, oh, I better shoot the guy, and then he hits like, from left and right, you have the smallest items. He also just has really weird aiming spots by going above you, so just knowing where these are is going to be really good. So far, it's actually been quite nice here. He also does it in the windows, and I don't know, just such a ramp up in difficulty on one level. And yeah, in terms of the game being on the decently short side, most rail shooters tend to be on the shorter end solely because they're meant to be played in arcades, and they don't want you there all day. So it works well. You can beat the game like entirely in like about 30 minutes. I think if you do 1, 2, 3, and 4 all in a row, it's all about like a little under 2 hours. But I think this actually is the longest one too. All right, I can actually lob a grenade. All right, and that boss is down. Let me get the results. Stage 3. So if I mentioned there was a weird difficulty ramp up, this is kind of a weird one because like they kind of make the next level really short. I'm not sure why. We're gonna be entering the Despair, the mall. Which I guess in fairness, if you enter a mall in 2023 is also probably known as Despair. I don't remember the last time I've been to an actual mall. You should just go straight to the like an arcade these days. Eating is going to be the end of the world. We do, like I said, more grenades. We have plenty of credits as well. The new enemy type is going to be these like shaggy looking guys who have the the tank top. And flying enemies. Flying enemies are just kind of a worse version of other enemies. Here we go. A lot of guys. Grenades are going to be used at particular points as always. Also, mean thing, there's a guy under the table there you can get. With that one, that's okay. Missed one guy. One guy off that. Oh, no, two. This guy was lagging behind. Oh, so we start getting really nice with the grenades. This is another level where, like, the last level was very grenade heavy. This one's more just using on nukes. Because the boss of this level is, like, I think they change the rules every time they have a level. Anyway, wait for them to get in the pit, and then just toss it on in, get a few there. Okay, now we have the big boy after these flying guys. Oh, I'm looking at, there we go. This guy's gimmick is you can't hurt him. So, you just stun him. There we go. See, he just sort of gets stunned. You're going to be running away, and there's going to be just a lot of phases of doing this. This is why kind of I mentioned the rules stop mattering here, I guess. Phases 1 and 2 are really easy. It's just going to be standard headshots. He's going to start changing it up because he realizes that walking towards you isn't working, which in all fairness, I mean, I thought it was a pretty good strategy. Now, his next strategy is going to be rolling. Rolling. It's like that one song. It didn't work. But he's going to change it up once again with better rolling. This time, he's going to walk at you and then roll backward. Backwards rolling actually is pretty good. But not good enough. That trips up a lot of people, but as long as you just kind of know where the head's going to be on the bottom side, you can usually get in 2. If you go to 3, he'll hit you. The whole goal is to get to that clock. Some quick fights coming up, but yeah, this level's pretty simple if the last one was a lot tougher. But don't worry, the next level is going to ramp up pretty heavily. Alright, so now he's back. This is going to be kind of like the last boss that we just did, where he's going to have, like, obstacles in the way, and then you want to make sure that you can hit him while he's not behind the walls. Oh, I might actually get the punch on me. Yep, there's a punch. Oh, good. Normally, that's a DA manip, right? That's how it goes. The worst thing about this section as well is that there is an explosive barrel in the back, but I don't think it's ever actually done me any good. And then the oddest part is that this boss just ends with a move the lever. He just... There, he's done. I just don't know why it does that. They see a fun music every time.
What's wrong? You not feeling well?
Okay, so the last current level that we're doing was one of the ones that was on the weirder side. This is probably what you expect out of Stage 5 of House of the Dead. Infamously, these games really amp up their difficulty on Stage 5, and also, story-wise, this is meant to take place right after House of the Dead 2. So, we're going to be getting in a car, making this more of a rail shooter. We go from walking to car. Shoot out the window immediately, and we're actually going to be having some neat, I guess, skips here in a way. It's kind of funny that you have, I guess, minor skips, if any. I'm going to use grenades to deal with these guys because normally it's you have to kill all the enemies to progress, right? This is one of the only instances where there's like a key enemy, which is in a moment here, we're going to be having a guy who's going to be like hassling my car. He's like really strong. He's going to lift up my car. So if you take out that one guy, which is this one guy right here on the left, you just drive immediately. That is the only instance in the game that does this, and I don't know why it's just that one. It's quite an odd skip. I guess the new enemy introduction is the, I guess the cop zombies who just lift up your car. I don't know, I think it's always odd to have one particular interaction that never comes back for like the rest of the level. Because like, you have multiple waves of car zombies, but then only the one matters on picking up your car. So I mentioned earlier about the hits giving more grenades. That might come in handy a bit in a moment here, but waiting. Toss. All right, that was decent. Okay. Grenades sometimes work on the upcoming boss. Sometimes. Oh, well, that's fine. I'm eating it anyway. Sometimes they work on the upcoming boss. I would have used the grenade right here if I didn't accidentally fat finger it on my left hand, but they sometimes work. The reason why is because if you can hit the grenade, it works. But it's not like some of the other bosses where you're hitting a whole body in a whole section. This is a very particular hit, and in general, this is one of the hardest bosses in the game. It's actually harder than the final boss, funny enough. Okay, so here's like Dante from the Devil May Cry series. I don't know his actual name, but he looks like Dante. So this is why I say grenades kind of work, because if you can hit him, grenades are nice. Anyway, his attacks are pretty simple. He's gonna attack you with his swords like that, which is fine, because we're gonna try see if grenades can work here. But he flies. That's his thing. Which flying enemies are certainly going to be a tougher breed, because let's see if I actually can even hit him here. No, that worked entirely. That's why it's not really super worth it to go for like massive grenade hits. They like zoom past him. Anyway, we are almost done with this section. Maybe one or two more and we're good. That being said, I have hit him before. It is really awkward on how that works. All right, boss is down and we are ready for the final level. Also, yes, this is pretty reminiscent of most House of the Dead games. Like in House of the Dead 2, the same exact area would be the Magician fight, which is arguably harder than the final boss. Because the final boss has a section where he just dies at the end. Alright, here we go. Anyway, this is literally just House of the Dead 2, but you have a better weapon. The only difference, though, is that some of these enemies coming up are going to be much, much worse than the predecessor, which is these guys coming up in a moment here, which are going to have, like, blades. Not the ones that we just fought, because those are a different type of blade enemy, but it's going to be the ranged enemy. For these guys. For some reason, they're able to have infinite blades and also block your attacks like the axe guys, but, like, to the 100th degree. Also, I would just waste a grenade right now, because I'll probably be eating a hit in a moment, unless I want to play it super safe. I'll probably try to eat one more hit right for the final boss. Also, that works anyway. Funny enough, grenades don't work on those guys. They will block them. I don't know why they block them, but they will block them. It's a very weird distinction. Things have been good tonight so far. There we go. Okay. Much better. All right, boss time. So we're now going to fight the world.
Let's go.
This is the world. Whole gimmick here is shoot the heart. You can also throw in some grenades, and you actually do get a little bit of damage. There are two ways of doing damage to the world. One is shoot the heart. Two is win like the little QTEs sometimes. I whipped that pretty hard, but that's fine. Admittedly, this would be one of the times that a PlayStation move would be better. All right, we're hitting the final phase of this part. Which, by the way, at this point, he always just does the same attack. I'm not sure why. He really likes the one attack at a certain threshold. I guess it's just like a final boss thing. It's like, you know what? It worked the first time. I'll do it again. Which, funny enough, this attack's really easy. It just does lose a good amount of time every time you have to eat it. But ideally, you probably eat maybe 2 max. There we go. That's good. All right, and clearly we've won. There's not a second phase. Time should be coming up. Oh, no, there's a second phase. Oh, no. Anyway, at this point, I am going to be saving my grenades just a little bit here. I want to get all the damage in phase 1 that I can. If I do eat too many hits, I actually will start spamming grenades, because then I can get more. However, we should be able to do this without the grenades. That's fine, although I might actually go for a moment here. Alright, so let's toss one right there. And 2. I'm going to hit right here, probably. That's fine. You want your grenades back. Some nice damage in there. I like how I ate both of the hits after saying expressly not. Which, by the way, I guess if that's a good sign that, yes, this is RNG. Anyway, now you can see why I want grenades. There's a chance I can get damage while he does this attack, which isn't exactly super hard to miss. It's just, you'll almost always be doing it. No damage off that, that's fine. Anyway, the time actually is coming up in a moment here. Which would be a lot better if I actually hit the heart repeatedly. Outside of a rough final boss, this wasn't a bad run. Oh my god. There, he's dead. Alright, time. We're good. He's dead. What a fight, huh? What a fight. The world is not easy, but we'll see our ending here. I wonder what's gonna happen. Also, this is absolutely a callback House of the Dead 2. Look, I will say for this game, there is a bonus mode that does have the Magician as a boss fight. It's pretty fun, but it's not part of the run. This is what you would normally be playing in arcades. So it's kind of like, oh, here's the arcade cabinet. I like how he just jumps into it with the bomb instead of throwing the bomb. I'm not sure why he wouldn't. Like, the bomb went off anyway. Why not just toss it? But I guess it's less dramatic that way.
James. What should I do?
The funniest thing is that, like, I always expect just the really cheerful music to play after this, but it doesn't. It would be a lot funnier if it was do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. But that does happen when you beat the game. Alright, so we'll skip that part, and then we'll see the ending that you get, which, weirdly enough, if you don't know, this game is actually a prequel, but also a sequel. It takes place before House of the Dead 3, but after 2. I'm not sure why they did it that way, but, I mean, it's fun.
Hope is such a splendid thing.
And then end. But don't worry, you have your delayed, hold on, I just want to hear the sound. You have the long, James is dead, then... Alright, anyway, that being said, I have been Ecdysis. I hope that you enjoyed that run of House of the Dead 4. Yeah, it's a fun game. Yeah, you don't always see games like this, so I want to be able to show it off with our new, joining of aimbot, so... I do a lot of horror games on Twitch, so lately I've been running through every game I've ever done. I like running the Crypt because I do so many horror games, and I'm currently doing a long challenge where I do about 162 unique ones in a row. So, alrighty. Anyway, that as well wraps up the night for Speedruns from the Crypt. Hope you all had a fun time watching. It was fun being able to show off these games. I've also been your host, Igdisis. I'll be back in about, I think, 4 weeks or so. We're back in about 4 weeks of the Crypt. I think next 2 weeks is Frame Fatales, so we won't be on the ring then, but we will be back the following 2 weeks after that, which should be a pretty fun show already in mind. As well, I'll make sure you tune in tomorrow for The First Step. I'm pretty sure. These have fun stuff over there, and that will be a premiere of a new limited run show called As Seen on TV by Nicole Goodnight. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and have a great rest of the day and or night, and take it easy, everyone.